Hey everybody, Spidey here. Hope you're having a marvelous day. You are on the Marvel Card Show, and I'm with my pal Manu, the 9.9 Newsstand. How you doing, buddy?
Good, very well. How are you? How's everybody? Hello, good to see all of you.
Man, we're well. I don't know about you, but I measure my life by Tuesdays now. It's
I'm
like,
I'm telling you, I'm telling you. And you know what? With so much that's gone on this week, waiting for Tuesday has felt like a lifetime. This is like
oh,
my moment of relaxing. It's like the week happens, the culmination of it is
mhm.
Tuesday. We get to discuss what's happened, we get to just relax, and then it kind of resets after tonight. So I agree with you.
I'm telling you, man. It's like everything is happening all week. I'm like, oh, I got to remember to talk about that on Tuesday. On
Right?
Tuesday. On Tuesday. Is it
Yeah.
Tuesday yet? And here we are. We're on the Marvel show again. And everybody in the comments, I've been hanging out with them for a minute here already, just hanging out with uh, a couple of buddies. And so just want to say hello to everybody. We got Hulk Collector, Alonzo, Ang, everybody just hanging out in the chats. We got Whip It Good. It's awesome. We already lost Manu.
No, no, no,
He's
no, no,
back.
you did not. I am
He's
here.
back.
I am here. Yes.
But yeah, no, it's good to be with everybody. So what's been going on in your world? I've seen some activity on the social realms. Wait a minute, hold on. I gotta. I probably need to get past something first.
What?
You went live on Instagram without me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, okay, but you know what? It was without you. That is true,
Yeah.
but it was also due to you, right?
Okay.
Like
Okay. Okay. Okay.
you get the credit for that because Naj brought it up to me. I
Yep.
wasn't in a position to do so. You brought it up to me, and then I made my little excuses, and you
You
do what you
did.
do so well. You're like, dude, get out of here with that. Go
Yep.
live. And then Rage Theo, our friend Theo, he
Yes.
brought
Right.
it up to me. And you know, I just said, let's do it because there was a lot going on
Hmm. It needed to
you know,
happen. The timing was
yeah,
important.
yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and go on do not disturb mode here.
You do that. I'm gonna hit a couple of comments here.
Yes,
Uh,
please.
Alonzo says, "Waiting for Spider-Man metal feels like a lifetime, brother."
Oh my gosh, it's
Do I ever know that feeling? But I've kind of moved it into this place and space of it's going to happen when it was supposed to happen, not when I wanted it to happen,
right.
and I'm just going to be okay with it. And just know that I know I have a community out there that is feeling a lot of the feelings that I am. But when it comes, anticipation, has a way of adding spice and flavor to something.
Maybe they know what they're doing over there.
I don't know,
Maybe
but
that's the plan.
yeah, it's like for some people, it's the planning of the vacation that actually that they enjoy more than the actual vacation itself, right?
Oh,
You know that?
I did not know that. You know what? We'll have a conversation about my thoughts on vacations, but elaborate on that. Tell me
Yeah.
about
So
that. Put me in those shoes.
there's some people out there. There's some people on the chat right now that likely have their suitcase out 2 weeks before it's time to leave, and they're like color coordinating or labeling and making a list
Right.
and doing all this stuff. Yeah, because anticipation is a big part of that, right? And
Yeah.
then you have me. I'm going to pack the day of the trip,
Oh,
and then we're
you're
just
one of
going to
those
go.
guys.
Yeah, we're just gonna
Okay.
go. Yeah.
So spontaneity, you do fine in it. Um,
Well, I do all the planning here. Like I definitely
okay.
think a lot. There's a lot going on. Like I play out the scenario, but the actual like why pack 4 days early when I know something may pop up that'll change things?
Yeah, or maybe something you pack you want to wear.
Correct.
Then you got to unpack it.
Yep. You
Um,
nailed it, man.
for me, I'm an anxious guy. So when I
Oh,
know there's a vacation coming up, I'm anxious until I land wherever the destination is. I am not looking
oh.
forward to any of the planning, to any of the trip. But once I'm there, it's like, oh, thank goodness. And that's it. And who cares how well you pack for the flight back? Just throw everything in there, get home, take a shower, fold everything up for the weeks to come. That's it.
I got you. I got you. A little
Yeah.
anxiety comes in. Look, Whippet
Oh,
says
anxiety.
he says separation anxiety from hits. Oh, that's really sweet.
Oh, that is very sweet. What's up,
Wait, is he talking
Whippet?
about hits in the box or he's talking about me? I'm just
He talking about you. Card Freak, my friend. Hello. Hello,
yes,
Sin City in the building. Hello, Sin City.
Kent.
Kent,
Manu
what's
got me
going
out of the
on?
comic rabbit hole.
I'm so happy to hear it, my friend. I'm so happy to hear it. And now that you're here with us in the comic verse,
Mhm.
we're gonna have to talk about some of the friction in the comic world. We're going to have to talk about some of the challenges and some of what we
Wait,
have to do as a
wait a
community
minute.
to overcome.
This sounds like a relationship that you're describing.
It's a real, you know what? Yes, it is a relationship. CGC and I are in a committed long-term relationship. We're taking a
Oh,
break, but we're still exclusive. Oh, I hope they feel that way.
you know,
But
exclusivity is a key to a really good relationship.
and you know what? Hopefully somebody from there is listening, because we are exclusive, because I'm not doing any business with CBCS, and that has started up some drama today.
Oh man.
There are some people that disagree with me, and I am happy about it because I like that
Oh,
sort of conversation.
can we please have them in the chat? Because Manu wants to start a really nice fight, not a mean fight.
A constructive fight, a
Yeah.
fight that's going to make, because you know what? It's not that CGC is the issue. It's not that CBCS is the issue. It's grading companies and how much business they have. And
Yeah,
I have a
we did it to
preference of
ourselves.
CGC. Yeah, and you know, the fight that I'm picking, not the fight that I'm picking, the battle that I'm fighting
Mhm.
is to improve CGC, because that's my grading company of choice. That's where I am emotionally invested. I have
Mhm.
no emotional investment in CBCS, but I feel if CGC improves, well, guess what? That forces CBCS to do better as well, because
Yeah.
they're just going to take more market share if CGC gets better. So competition is good. Pushing someone to improve is good. And
Yeah.
there's communication with there are employees of CGC that have reached out to me. There's communication,
Mhm.
and they are obviously working really hard to make changes, but it gets a little disappointing when we see so many new innovations, if you will, rather than improvements on what's already
Mhm.
existing. And I
Mm.
and you know, a lot of us just kind of bite our lip, and I don't want to do that anymore. Bite our tongue. Paul, hello, my friend.
Yeah.
What did he say? He said, love CGC, but they need to tighten things up a little. Exactly. That's all it is. Bryce, hello.
All right, Bryce has a comment for you. I prefer CBCS because I grade comics to keep, not to sell. Plus, I love the
Yeah.
auto authentication.
I would like to talk about that. So that was part of the conversations that started up today. And you know what? I'm on that perspective. I really appreciate, because you know, there's a philosophy of by the book, not the grade. Now, I think
Mhm.
when that came about, oh well, there's two things. There's by the book, not the grade, and then there's this sort of sarcastic, condescending thing that floats around where people, you know, talk about you're not buying the case, you're not buying the label, you're buying the book. Well,
Mm.
that's true and false, because the case is something you're looking at, the label is something you're looking at. You are buying into the brand that's encapsulated your comic book. That point can't be avoided. There's a preference some people have, but the
Mhm.
idea of buying CBCS for the personal collection makes great sense. And the reason it does is because you get those books for less of a cost than you would the equivalent
Ooh,
CGC book.
is that a backhanded compliment?
No, it's not actually. It's just a fact. It's just a
Okay.
fact. And that's why it makes so much sense. If you're buying for the PC, you're buying the book. You are respecting the grade on the book, but you don't care who
Mhm.
encapsulates it, because you want a certain condition of a certain book, and you're going to get it at a less expensive price. And that makes a lot of sense. And then they do authentication, which is um, an added benefit. You know, CGC doesn't. I personally don't want CGC to do that. I like that the witness program is the witness program. It has an extra layer of, well, that's obviously that person's autograph, which I really appreciate. But I appreciate that comment, and I understand it, and I respect it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, so I'll tell you a little CBCS story. So in 2020, when comic book prices were beginning to skyrocket, I went ahead and grabbed a New Mutants 98 signed by Rob Liefeld and Edge of the Spider Verse 2 signed by three of the artists and writers. And I can't remember all of them right now, but they were all
Okay.
CBCS books, but they were both CBCS books. And I put them up on this wall right here with my comics, and they were completely out of place with all my CGC
Yeah.
books,
Yeah.
and they had pale yellow labels, and I just couldn't do it. I immediately put them back up for sale and sold them.
Wow. And that's pretty powerful thing to hear, you know, but you're
Mhm.
not alone in that, of course. Most people's collection is comprised, well, I won't say that. There are a lot of people that are solely CBCS or majority CBCS, but I guess more of the collectors that I know, they're predominantly CGC. And if you have amassed 50, 60 slabs and they're all
Mhm.
CGC, it's kind of weird when one CBCS one comes into the mix, you know?
Mhm.
Um, but that would be the same as like I got all PSA cards. If there was a Beckett card here, I'd feel like it'd be a little out of place.
I can mix up a little bit there. Speaking of Marvel cards, Alonzo says tonight about Allure or Ultra Avengers, and I'm curious, Do you know what Marvel Allure is, Manu?
I do not know.
So are you familiar with Black Diamond, the product Black Diamond?
I've heard of that from the sports world, but I'm not
Mhm.
actually familiar with what it is, or
Here, I'll
I
show you
wouldn't
one
be.
real quick. I
Yeah,
actually got an
please.
offer on a Black Diamond card that I have on eBay that
Okay.
I actually had forgot that was on eBay.
Well,
So
that's
this
cool then.
is
That's a nice way to be reminded.
yeah, so this is the card. This is a Paul Bettany. Let me see if I can get to focus here.
Cool.
Focus, focus, focus. Guess it's not going to focus, but
I
anyhow,
can see. Yeah.
there's a Paul Bettany auto here, number to 20. What is this? Number to 23, I believe, or yeah, 25. Number to 25, and I got an
Okay.
offer for $850 on it today.
What were you asking?
1250.
That's
So
not even that bad an offer. I don't even think that's a low ball. I think that's a nice counter
no,
waiting to happen.
it's somebody who's really interested in the card. So, and
Yeah.
I've got to decide what I want to do.
Yeah.
But I bring this up because this is an MCU actor auto here.
Mm-hmm.
And Allure is not Black Diamond, but it's an MCU product that's going to have, the hits are primarily going to be actor autos.
I see.
And it's going to be in this chromium. Are you familiar with the Topps Chrome product or even the Star Wars Chrome product?
Say it again. You cut out. Am I familiar
Mhm.
with chromium?
Yeah, or you remember
Yeah.
you
Oh,
remember
yeah.
Flare Ultra
Yeah.
X-Men Chromium? So
Absolutely.
it's going to be that style of card. It is a higher end set, but it's going to have big time autos in it. That's
Very cool.
Marvel Allure, and it's coming
Very
out
cool.
soon. And then he also mentioned Flare Ultra Avengers, which you've seen videos on the channel. It's a
Yeah.
premium Marvel card set, and it's been coming up for order and pre-order here recently, and it's popped up 2 or 3 times. Of course, the prices are inching up each time. And
Where are they right now?
let's see. Actually, I'm kind of curious now that you mentioned it. But it's
I'm
over
guessing
$300 bought.
335.
Ooh, that's a good. I feel like that's actually a really good guess. So
Cool.
let's see.
I've kicked my feet up. I don't think anyone can tell, but my feet are kicked up now.
I like it, man.
Kent says, I will be skipping Allure. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about why. I love podcasts. Hello. We've got someone in here named Miles. Hello, Miles. How are you? Which is more preferred, worth more as a card, Venom and Spider-Man as allies or as enemies? Thanks for helping keep
Ooh,
Marvel alive. That's a really nuanced question. I would
I
say as
like it.
enemies are more compelling.
So there's no pre-orders up right now, but I'm pretty sure
Okay.
that the last price was really close to what you just said, 330.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, look, let's just all be real. Venom is better as an enemy, not an ally.
Yeah, I mean, I like it that way. I think it's cooler that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's what it was meant to be. And I get the idea that sometimes they have to help each other out because symbiotes get out of hand. But
Oh, yeah, they got a mind of their own.
it really should only be during that storyline. Otherwise, they should be enemies.
That makes sense, and I think McFarlane agrees with you. I think McFarlane was a little upset when Bagley's Lethal Protector happened. He was like, "What do you mean?"
He eats heads. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's
And
not
why is
good.
there this big tongue coming out of Venom's mouth? Yeah, McFarlane wasn't a big fan of that either.
Some people really like the tongue. We've talked about it a few times on the channel, but
I think it's cool. I dig it.
and then
I
Swami
dig it.
says, I pre-order beginnings today, no expectations for release date. I know that you don't have expectations, but part of me says, not surprised if it comes out before Spider-Man Metal, but maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. Hi, Swami. Hello.
Paul says, I wish I'd have kept all my Marvel cards. I gave them away years ago. Ow, ouch. That does hurt.
Well, you made somebody happy, and that's really good.
Yeah, I hope they're
Constantine
still
says, "I
enjoying
love the tongue." Yes, Constantine, I'm with you.
it. And Miles says, yeah, against Carnage. Talking about when they fight, it should be
Oh
against.
yeah, yeah.
And when they partner up, it should be against Carnage. Sure, Carnage is a great villain. Oh, I missed my brother's comment. Press a book, send it to CBS for signature authentication. The press was worthless because it reverted back to its normal state. It took 11 months to get graded. So you know what he's talking about there, huh?
Yeah, yeah, and Yeah, I mean, you take a long time, and certain defects can come back, and it's an interesting thing, right? Because if it gets encapsulated and it gets a grade before the defects come back, well, the defects will still present themselves in the case, but you get the grade that you wanted. And but if the defects come back prior to getting graded, well, you get graded
Yeah,
based on the defects. So it's interesting. You would prefer it to get encapsulated prior to the defects taking shape again, you
no
know?
doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
So when I went to Beckett in 2021, it was kind of a little bit by private invitation because they were not seeing people due to COVID.
Mm.
And when I walked into the entrance of the building, the reception area, which normally would have had a receptionist welcoming people in and out of the building, it was wall to wall with cards and comics because they had obviously ran out of space to have stuff anywhere else. To give you some, and it didn't look organized. Maybe it did have some organization to it, but I couldn't tell at first glance. And it immediately gave me some sense of, oh my goodness, these people are completely overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard those kinds of stories. I heard the same things from CGC. There was
Mhm.
the boxes of books were in the the reception areas, the office areas, so on and so forth. It's still a big problem, to be
Yeah.
completely honest, or else we wouldn't be feeling the effects of it. Kent says my defects keep popping back up. They happen. Paper's got memory. Paper's got memory. Depends on how long that thing was bent up.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw about the paper.
Oh, you're being funny, Kent. I got you. Oh, I got you. We can't shake our defects, Kent.
Yeah.
Ours are not pressable.
Right. Non pressable defects.
Yeah, yeah, we're color broken.
Oh, TBC. I was literally watching this video where you got back your 393 but I didn't know they were PSA 10s because I got interrupted in the video.
Oh,
He was still on sports cards when I was going through his reveal. So I still got to go back and finish it.
got it. Got it.
Mhm.
But congrats on the tens, though.
Yeah. So Spidey is getting that Miles Morales Spider-Man number 25 with the limited 800 cards on Thursday. Thank you again for saying something about it.
That's the one you grabbed, the Delato.
The Del Auto, and that story has developed uh, more since then.
Mm.
So, it had a mini moment, right? It had a mini blow up, and um, it started selling out on eBay pretty quick. Okay, like within 30 minutes of the post, the the owner of the eBay listings started messaging people who were asking them about it, going, "Hey, why all of a sudden interest, in this
Wow.
book? Like, what's going on?" And they referenced the post, and so that person then contacted the original creator of the COA trading card that went with the exclusive, and he and I spent a few hours on the phone last night talking about it, and he did some vetting. He went and looked up some Google trends and so forth, and found that 17 of those books sold in a 2-hour span after the post. Uh,
Dude, that's movement.
yeah, yeah, it's really cool.
Wow.
And
That
so,
is
anyways,
very
so
cool.
it ended up creating a really fun relationship because these type of releases are going to happen again in the future, and now I get to be connected to it in some way, not like a financial business partner way. Don't mishear me. I just mean like I know who's doing it now, and I might be able to deliver that information to you guys before it hits eBay, so to speak.
Which is
And so
very cool.
yes, and but anyways, found out there were multiple other books that had similar COAs, and who those artists were and things like that. And but it was really cool, and this is why I really would like to say this right now. This is why I believe in being in creation. This is why I believe in hitting record, going live, making the video, making the post. You want to be healthy about it, but you want to be about it. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Mhm. Yeah.
Because that I made that post because I got it in the mail, and when I saw it, I went, "Wow, this makes me think of this idea, and I think other people want to know about it." So I just made the post, really simple, right? But that created something else. Like to say they created something else, it actually put me like one person away from some really big artists that I'd never thought I'd be one call away from.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah, because you know the person that's in charge of this production that's making this happen, and they're working directly with Delato.
Directly.
That's very
And
cool. And
so
he's an incredible artist, like
yeah.
one of the greatest.
And so my encouragement to you guys and gals who are listening right now, if you have a thought that you want to create a channel, whether it's about comics or Marvel cards or whatever, like be about it. Don't be afraid. Hit record. You're going to make mistakes. Some people are going to like it. Some people are not. That's fine. And just know that you'll also have somebody over here supporting you.
Oh yeah. Hit record. Hit record.
Mm-hmm.
Justin's got me doing it.
Yep. I love it too.
So that book now, is it entirely sold out? Are all 800 of them accounted for or belong to somebody at the moment?
Yeah. So that I don't know. I did
Okay.
ask about, the limitness of it. And what I can tell you is that there was a strong effort to make it limited. And at the same time, there's also a post on his Instagram where you can see where there was possibly some type of issue in the past about it. And he wanted me to go read it. I haven't read it yet.
Okay. Swish Rip says, hit record. Oh no, hit record. I get it. I was like, what do you mean hit record? I get it, hit record. Spidey Hits says, hit record.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. And well, Kent, that's a huge honor because I enjoy your channel.
That's amazing. Yeah. And, I think we missed something up here. I think it was, or maybe we did say it, but Hulk Collector says, thanks Manu helping me understand the submission process. By the way, you're very welcome. My pleasure. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have them today, we can talk about it.
Yeah,
so
put them in the chat.
Thank you.
That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. There's that question again. When can we find these chats on Spotify?
Oh, when
the process of pulling the audio down and putting it up on podcasts, it really should be there.
My man Paul.
Paul, we will we've had a small conversation about it. We'll continue to be in conversation about it, and just know if it aligns for me and Manu, it's going to happen. So
yeah, absolutely. It's definitely about alignment with Justin. It's definitely about alignment with me, and I feel like it is falling into line. So hopefully it does happen. I look forward to that, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, Kent, we can definitely keep spamming Upper Deck for the releases of everything, any and everything.
Yeah. Well, you've been spamming CGC, so that's worked.
Yeah, it's worked. I have stopped tagging them because my idea is not to annoy them and irritate them, but what's been really nice is about the community members that are feeling, what is the word, plight, our plight as collectors, as graders, right? And they feel it, and lately it's become more palpable. It's been more, it doesn't have to happen to us for us to be concerned. When you see a number of YouTubers receiving their submissions and their kind of ridiculous issues, sometimes heartbreaking issues. There are fewer YouTubers than there are people grading books, like by a lot.
Yeah, and just doing the odds and the ratios means.
So if the few YouTubers are all getting hit with trouble, come on, this is very widespread. And so it doesn't have to happen to us for us to speak up. And friends of mine in the community and people that just kind of are supporting the objective. The agenda is just to improve the grading companies. That's all it is. And they'll screenshot one of my stories and they'll post it, and I appreciate it all of the time. But what's funny is, even if I don't tag CGC, someone that screenshots it might, right? And so it still gets around. And I just think that's brilliant. And if anybody here is a friend of mine that has supported and done that, please, let's continue to. Like, I really appreciate it. My voice can only go so far. And then when it gets shared and when it gets sent and when it gets screenshotted and reposted, like, it's exponential, the amount of people that it can reach. And I think that's very important.
Yeah. No, the multiplication factor there is huge. And the way it lands at a place like CGC is much more important when they see that the collective, as a hobby is speaking together. So I think it's great. That's why I made the post. I was like, hey, let's everybody just tag Upper Deck today and just say, hey, can we get an update on Spidey Metal? And I would have you all know that it worked. And in some form or fashion, not in an official way, but it worked. And we discovered It was talked about last week how, the release is not going to happen in June like we expected, but it's
Right.
likely going to be July. It wasn't everything I wanted, but it was something. So we
Mm-hmm.
know it works.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to answer Charles' question because I do get this. Charles Dudley, does Marvel have serial numbered rookie cards like football? And let me define rookie. Rookie in being that the character makes a first appearance in a trading card, and that the hobby or hobbyist or even the creator of the cards recognize that as a rookie card, because you got to have both, right? And there are no rookie cards that are numbered, and what I mean by that is that it has rookie written on it. And they don't exist in Marvel for the most part because of the fact that, Marvel's not a sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it doesn't have rookies, but it does have something called first appearances. And first appearances is a really big deal in the comic community, specifically as it relates to comic books. And that language and value put on first appearances does translate into a Marvel card, meaning that there can be a particular emphasis or premium put on a card if it's the first time they ever appeared in a trading card.
Right.
And so you can imagine I get asked, when was the first time Spider-Man was on a trading card? Because if that's secret information and it, you might be able to buy something cheap that might be worth a lot of money one day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What we have seen, and whether or not it's sustainable in terms of how people view cards, is there is emphasis put on the first time that character had a numbered card, or the first time that character was on a particular high dollar insert or set. So it's still in that realm of first appearance, not rookie. Does that make sense?
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are 2 rookie cards that I can think of off the top of my head. 1990 MU have cards that have rookie written on them, and Ghost Rider is one of the big characters in that.
Right.
And then you have Vibranium, which came out in 2015, I believe, 12 or 15, I can't remember. Anyways, it has rookie cards on it, and one of the rookies in that set is Spider-Gwen and Jane Foster Thor, 2 pretty sizable characters, but
Indeed.
they're not numbered.
Yeah. There was no numbered stuff for Marvel for back then.
Well, not in the 90s.
Not in the 90s. Yeah.
Very few, very, very few. But around 2012, I think, is when you're going to get the first numbered stuff from Rittenhouse, is where it was.
2012. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Paul says, need something to listen to on the road. YouTube will still work. I know it's going to eat up a bunch of data, but for the time being.
Question from OBD. Do you guys know good places to buy comics other than eBay, other platforms, or IG accounts?
Is that Brian? I think it might be. Hello, my friend. Do you guys know good places to buy comics other than eBay, other platforms, or IG accounts? I mean, I seldom sell them a good place to buy, but I don't have a bunch of stuff and it's not always available. So, I understand what you're saying. I love eBay, but other than eBay, there's some really great consignment shops online. I don't have. This is a loaded question, to be completely honest.
Okay.
This is a loaded question. And you know how I am with I want to maintain respect.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be unnecessarily controversial. So I will say there are really great consignment pages. Elite, for instance, I think it's called Elite 11 or Elite Comics 11. They're one of the biggest.
Elite Comics. Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah,
I think
they're
right.
like 30,000 followers. They're a great page.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say that. And then there's also Grails. Grails is also a consignment page where, collectors that don't have
You're
the
focusing on
time.
Instagram at the moment.
Oh yeah, I'm focusing on Instagram at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are just sellers that are phenomenal. Like we talked about our friend Rage earlier today,
Mm-hmm.
Rage Theo. He's incredible, and he's got books on top of books on top of books. And there are sellers that sell predominantly big books, some that sell smaller books. If you want to slide into my DM, I could definitely introduce you to a few pages that I'm very comfortable shopping with. And the other reason that I'm sort of uncomfortable just dropping names is if I haven't personally done business with them,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they package. I don't know how they guarantee. I don't know how honest they are about the condition of things. So it's a tricky place for me to drop those sorts of names, you know?
Yeah.
And the thing about eBay that's so fantastic is that this is one thing that sellers don't like about eBay, but from a buyer's perspective, you're protected. You can
Hmm.
return stuff. And even if the seller says, I don't accept returns, well, eBay doesn't care if the seller says, I don't accept returns. If a buyer is unhappy, there's a good chance eBay is going to support you. And so I really love eBay as a place to purchase. And this is going to turn into a conversation about Whatnot as well, because you can shop on Whatnot. And somebody here asked, when are we going to see a stream from the 9.9 and Spidey Hits on Whatnot?
We're not ready to break Whatnot.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be selling any comics on Whatnot. So if I'm on Whatnot, it's going to be a card thing, I assume.
Okay, we're going to come back to the Whatnot.
Okay, very well, very well. But Brian, yeah, just go ahead and hit me up, and I can introduce you to a few people. There's dozens of great accounts on Instagram. Like Instagram is by far the most robust collecting community. A lot of people also buy in Facebook groups and things, but I'm not on Facebook and I don't know anything about Facebook groups, and I try not to speak about things that I'm just not knowledgeable about. So I know there's a great robust community there as well. But in terms of Instagram, that is my favorite place to collect with the community, share with the community, buy, sell, and trade with the community. Instagram is an amazing place for us.
Love it. So I'll share a couple of experiences. I have purchased some pretty nice books from mycomicbookshop.com.
Yes. My Comic Shop.
Mycomicshop.com.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I just said, but
I'm going to check. Yeah. I don't know if there's a book in there. Go ahead. Yeah.
mycomicshop.com. One of those.
Yes. Yeah.
And
mycomicshop.com. Yep.
what I really like about them is I think they do a pretty good job with giving you the grade of the book if it's raw, from my experience. And you can create a notification system where if that book pops up on their system, you get an email immediately. So you don't have to sit there and constantly check the site to find a book, almost in the same way that eBay can notify you of a search, right? And so I really like that. And I have to say, I had a wonderful buying experience through Nerdy Girl, Danielle.
Oh, yeah, dude, she's one of the best in the business, of course. Yeah. Legend.
I actually purchased my Spider-Gwen Edge of the Spider-Verse Greg Land variant with payment plans with her.
Yeah.
And she handled it. I mean, she was great. We set up a payment plan. It was easy. I made my 3 payments, I think is how I did it. And as soon as I got the 3rd payment, the book was in my possession, and she did a great job shipping it and getting it to me, and she was easy to deal with. And I like to think I was easy to deal with too. And that made it good for both of us.
Oh, I'm sure you were.
But always, there's not a lot of ways to protect yourself when you're buying that way. So you got to be careful, make sure you really vet it out. And, you really want to deal with people who have a lot of reputation risk if you're buying directly from eBay. And it helps guard your
Instagram.
Instagram. Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
There's some reputation risk on Instagram, eBay, but not much.
Not much, because you have, the machine on your side, if you will.
Yep. Hey, Marvelous Facts.
My comic NFTs are flying off the shelves, he says. Nice.
That's good, man. I'm glad that's working out.
Yeah.
Ahoy. Good morning from the Philippines. Oh, I love it when we have international viewers.
Absolutely. Very appreciated. Very appreciated.
So Ang's back, and he's in Australia. It's around 9:30 his time, a.m. 9:30 a.m.
Good morning. Good morning.
Manu, he's working.
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, hey.
All right. Do you know what he means? Okay. So we got to learn our acronyms. Do you know what he means when he says, have you guys discussed FUA?
Flare Ultra Avengers, of course.
Yes.
Yeah,
only briefly, we discussed prices, my friend, that the prices last we saw was around 330,000, and that it appears that they're sold out on David Adams at the moment. Sin City just started selling on Whatnot. You just have to know what to sell and what not to sell on the platform. So they give you deals so you don't get taken to the house. Okay, so I haven't been quiet about this. The reason I'm not on Whatnot primarily is I don't want to have to ship all that stuff individually.
Oh, yeah, we know this. You're gonna
I
end up
could be
selling 200
convinced to do it with
cards.
somebody else. You know, I guess if I had somebody that I could pay, like I could pay to do all the shipping and then the economics worked out, I might would do it.
Doesn't Ashlyn need a job?
Yeah, need a job and we'll do the job is two different things. This going into the summer, me and mom were talking about the summer plans. I was like, let's put her to work. Let's get her a job. And she was like, no, this is the last summer of her as a kid, blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever.
Well,
So,
that's a nice sentiment too, though.
okay.
All right, sorry.
It didn't have to be 7 days a week child slave labor, but like 3 days a week with a job would have been good, been useful.
I didn't mean to stir anything up. I do that all day anyway. Oh goodness.
All right. Last Wednesday is July 27th. Fingers crossed. He's talking about the release of Spidey Metal. I'm with you, bud. I'm right there with you.
I'm just trying not to get any more excited than I already am because
Mhm.
it gets really hard to wait. This is like it's like Christmas keeps extending itself a month at a time,
Yeah.
but
It's oh yeah, don't move Christmas. That upsets everybody.
yeah, exactly.
All right.
Exactly. She's not going to go work for Nike. She's not going to go work for Nike.
Is that that she could. She's got the look for it. She's more of a Broadway kid.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Uh-huh.
She's on the path to becoming a famous entertainer.
Yeah. Oh no, thank you, Cards Across America.
About that Delato comic book, right?
Mhm.
So it's limit. What was the cost? I never looked into
For
purchasing
me,
one.
it was
What was the price on it?
$150 for the book that came with the COA.
Now,
So
okay. And since it's a COA, do you like you personally, you being a very passionate about cards, is it
Mhm.
a card to you? Do you still look at it as a card?
not in the
Okay.
licensed trading card sense.
Okay. Okay.
Here's what I would say to your point. What pushed me over the edge for it? It is the sickest art.
Oh
Like
yeah.
like to have that art that I can put into it. I mean, you saw it in the one touch,
It's
and
beautiful.
it just inspired me to go like, what if? And what if that Miles art is used in Spidey Metal as the low series modern art for
Oh,
Miles?
that is what you said about it. Yeah.
And so it just had me in this space and place of like thinking about all the possibilities that exist, not only with trading cards for Marvel and the art that's out there, but also what it would be in a CGC slab. And yeah, that inspired the post.
When is that happening? When is it happening?
Which part?
The CGC slabbing of cards. Do we even want it to be rushed? They've got other things that they got to take care of too.
When you think about what it takes, they can't just say we grade Marvel cards. There's got to be so many other things in place for that to happen. Like what
Mhm.
do they put on the label for that set or that card? How's the font arranged? How much do you put on there? What do you not say? What grading scale system do you go with? Do you make Marvel cards grade a CGC 10, or do you go with a 9.8 as a gem mint so that it matches comics?
Oh, I never even thought about that. That is interesting. If it's
You
a
see what I'm saying?
Marvel card, they can't get into 9/8s and 9/9s in a card.
I'm saying these are decisions that have to be made.
They are. I never even
Okay.
thought about it. Wow.
What if you had an option where you could select that should it grade a 10, you could have it labeled as a 9.8.
Oh, but it would be known that a
It'd be a personal
9/8
choice.
is a
That
10.
9.8s or 10s,
It is a
but it's a
10.
personal choice.
That way it would correlate perfectly, would match perfectly.
Or do they take a Beckett style of grading where they do have a pristine 10 and the 9.8 is the gem mint?
What are they doing currently with the cards that they grade? Because they're in sports. They do a 9.5,
They
don't
do
they?
9.5. It's a Beckett style grading, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. So the
Mhm.
10 is pretty special.
Yeah, I think so. But it is
Okay.
possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
They
these are
definitely
these are things we need to know and they have to decide.
Yeah, Card Freak says you need to tell CGC this, Spidey. You need to. You need to talk to your contacts there.
My contacts.
You need to talk to them. Let them know.
Which
I'm
part?
talking to them currently. That they just need to get it going. Naj is in the building. Naj,
Oh,
hello. Good morning.
hello, Miss Naj.
I want to tell a story. Oh, when the time comes, I'm going to tell a
When the
story.
time
There's
comes, okay.
two stories I want to tell. Yeah, they involve two of Naj's books.
Hmm.
And she has given me permission to tell the story because she's busy with other stuff at the moment. So she's
Yeah.
not in a storytelling place. And I kind of, if it
Well,
comes up, I'm going to tell one or two
we
of them tonight.
well, we've seen what she's been building in her room. I mean,
Yeah.
that's been impressive.
Yeah. I can't build half of that and be okay. And she built like a 10 by 10 with all kinds of drawers and cabinets, and they're already getting filled up with beautiful things. It's nice.
And they're going to be in her background whenever she's on this live hanging out with us. So I can't wait.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And she beat me. I've got one of those things over here, and it's the smaller version. She's got me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jeremy says, would a 9.8 have less value if there was a 10? Depends.
If we're talking that hypothetical that we were just saying, like a 9.8 is a 10 and a 10 is a 9.8, and it's just about what number do you want to represent it, then it shouldn't. But if the 9.8 is actually a different grade than a 10, then yes. But I really hope they do not get into actually grading anything between a 9.5 and a 10 when it comes to cards. That's just too small an item to start doing that.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
I mean, I would think that the 10 is always going to have more value.
They have two 10s. Beckett has two 10s, a pristine 10 and a perfect 10.
Correct. Yes. So you can get a 10 by having
Dan said that, yeah.
Yeah, by having 10, 10 on like 10 corners, 10 edges, 10 centering, 9.5 surface will get you a 10.
Which one, the pristine or the perfect?
I would think he's okay. I think pristine is the one I just described. Perfect would be all four 10s.
Wow, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Do both of those get the black label, the black 10, or is that only reserved for the perfect where all four criteria are 10?
I think it has to get a black label. You have to have all four perfect, I think,
Have
because
you
they
gotten
don't
one of those?
round up. You know, you can't do 10, 10, 9, 5, 9, 5. I don't
Okay.
think that works. I have to look it up, but
On Michael's stream, when you guys were ripping those cards, there was something like that. And you were like, why'd they give you this grade? That could have
yeah,
been a 10.
yeah.
All
I
the
rounded it up. I was like, it rounds up. The math works. Yeah, he
Yeah,
says perfect 10 is the black label. Yes. And I will have you know that the reason I have some hesitation is because for whatever reason, I have called the black label pristine for whatever it's worth. That's just
Okay.
that's been an error on my part. But I think he's right. A gold labeled 10 is pristine. Black label's perfect.
Okay. And I'll be paying more attention now that I've noticed this. I haven't been in that world. I've never graded with Beckett, so I never quite felt like I had to become super familiar, but I should. I want that information. I want that knowledge. So I think I'll educate myself.
There's still a special place, you know, globally speaking, in trading cards that the community holds for a BGS 10 as above many PSA 10s.
Because it's more difficult to get that, right? Like PSA's 10, if it's close to a 9.5, but closer to the 10, you're going to get, well, they don't do a 9.5,
Correct.
but they're going to give you the 10 if it's more to that side. Where for Beckett, it's got to really be that 10.
But PSA does do an 8.5, which drives me insane. I got another 8.5 on a recent submission. Just give me the 9. Just give me the 9. Do you know what you're doing to me?
Seriously.
But it is interesting to think about if CGC does start grading Marvel cards in whatever grading scale they choose. Do they choose to have 10s but make it much more difficult like Beckett has done? The model the PSA has established would show that no, you don't do that because people want 10s. They want to buy them, they want to sell them, they want to own them, and they need to be available for that to happen. And that happens at a greater tick, so to speak, if a 10 is equivalently the same equivalent as a 9.5.
Is it, and I'm with that. Is it known in the card community that if you have a PSA 10, well, no, I guess you wouldn't want to do that. I guess the other way around is if you have a Beckett 9.5, that's going to cross over grade as a 10 with PSA, like, is that like a confidence that people have?
um, I think once it's slabbed, is that you would think that they're similar in grade, but the PSA 10 outsells the 9.5.
It does, yeah. It does, yeah. Mhm.
But you should, in theory, be able to crack it and resubmit to PSA and get a 10 out of a 9.5. That does not necessarily happen
Gotcha.
because partly because of the way. This is what I understand. I'm not a grader, okay, but PSA puts a lot of emphasis on the presentation of the card in the slab as opposed to averaging out the subgrades.
I have a little echo. TBC Break says.
Well, I do not hear it, and you sound perfect to me. I'd be curious to hear if anybody else does.
I took out one of my yada yada. I think I might have fixed it.
See, I kind of like what Dan says. I hope that a pristine 10 is a 9.8, and then they have the perfect 10, which is like, really hard to get. You can get it.
Yeah. 10's got to be tough, or else it wouldn't make sense. A 10 has to be tough.
And just know that I'm saying this knowing that my brain tells me the cards I want to submit to CGC, that they're cards I want to PC, not flip.
Okay. Because if you wanted to flip them, you're still going to go PSA.
I still would go to PSA. Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take years for CGC to develop its Marvel card ecosystem economically speaking.
Right. I do think they're going to hit the ground running, and they are going to be flying off the shelves, but it is going to take a while for the gap and the perception to sort of catch up to the cachet of a PSA in the world of cards. My echo is definitely back. I can certainly hear it, and I apologize, guys. I'm not sure why that's happening.
Okay. Just know that you sound perfect over here.
Okay, cool.
And I hope that's the way other people hear it.
I hope so too.
Here's what I think is cool about it. CGC starts grading Marvel cards. And know that I haven't searched all of YouTube or Twitch or Discords or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But is there going to be a better place for people to come talk about it than this channel right here?
This is going to be the place to come talk about it.
See, that's what I'm thinking.
Absolutely right. Right. We need a sponsorship.
Come on, CGC.
There's going to be a CGC banner. They're going to be like, as long as Manu's not on the show, we'll let the banner run. But
hey, look, I will say no. If that is a condition of the channel, no, thank you. We'll go to PGX.
Oh my God, dude! Hey, should we, PG? Just for a second. Anyone that's not familiar, PGX is a grading company for comic books. Yes, but are they really? Like, I've seen the worst PGX books ever, and I'm not even talking about in person. Like someone will send me a picture and it'll be a 9.8, and it'll just be demolished, right? And then the other thing about it is to open a PGX slab, you just got to put a little bit of your fingernails in there and it opens right up. It just cracks right open. It's ridiculous, to be quite honest. It's really great. I question, like, who, no offense to anyone, I just want to know who submits to PGX. That's really interesting to me.
Honestly, I even struggle, like when I go to card shows or conventions and there are these new pop-up grading companies, and look, we all got to start somewhere, right? You know? And so kudos to those who forge ahead and create, and I'm all for it. It just seems like such a difficult space to play in.
Yeah. Was it one of your YouTube videos where you were at, it might have been at Dallas Card Show. You actually, you shined some light on a new company. They were doing some cool stuff too. I forgot all of the details, but it was pretty cool.
They have glass cases. They grade your cards in Gorilla Glass. And the whole presentation is, you can throw it off of 10 stories and it won't crack. And I'm going to tell you.
Because we all want to be able to do that with our cards.
Makes no sense to me. And the reality is part of the fragility is what makes it collectible. Does that make sense? part of its fragility,
Yeah.
its fragileness is what makes it collectible.
You have to be careful with these things.
You have to treat it well. And the other thing is, like, once you encase it in the Gorilla Glass, if I decide to change my mind, I want my card back, I can't get it back.
Wait, what?
Like, the way it was presented to me is like I could take a hammer to it and I'm
Right.
not going to get to the card.
Jeremy said, bruh took a hammer to the card.
Yes. And so I think they have maybe some special way that they can get into it. And maybe I didn't hang around long enough and I'm curious to learn more. And I would have you know that there's some cards that I would want in that slab, but they're not going to be, there's going to be more about presentation than collecting. If that makes sense. And so, yeah, really, it really kind of caught me off guard, and I don't really get it, but I did want to show this. Okay. So this is
Viking Sword, what's going on, my friend? Sin City, you're very welcome. Very welcome. I'm happy a bunch of us got into that second print. It was a really good buy at prices way lower than I thought.
Yeah, I'm very happy with mine. We got to talk about that some more. So this is the sports version of CGC slabs.
Oh yeah, they did do a bit of a different look at the top to have it more classic looking and more, yeah,
And
that's
I'm going to tell you, as I was scrolling through stories today, this actually really caught my attention. Didn't realize it was CSG, which is CGC, guys, for those who don't know.
Right.
This really caught my attention, and I can tell that it is similar plastic that is in the comic books. That's with the comic book slabs. And so it has me excited.
Yeah. It has you what?
Has me excited. Although I will say I would, I'm hoping for blue label instead of black. And I'm hoping
I think with the cards, I think with Marvel cards, you're definitely going to get blue. I think the Marvel cards are going to look exactly like they do for Pokemon. I think it's going to be the same thing.
Okay. Makes sense.
Because they look just like the comic book ones.
They do.
What I remember. Yeah.
They do. What's up, Viking Sword? How's it going?
Yeah, what's going on?
Any card shows soon, like Bay Area or Nationals? Well, so Nationals is at the end of July, and that is looking worse and worse for me to attend. I hate to say that. My wife now wants us as a family to be in Dallas that weekend for a dance competition for my daughter. So that appears to be trending that direction. But this Thursday, I'm flying out to Charlotte, North Carolina for HeroCon, and there will be tons of Marvel cards and Marvel collectors there. And I'm super excited about being in that energy where it's comic theme with comic cards rather than sports themed with comic cards. Right. And I'm really excited about making content around it.
Sketch is going to be with you.
He's going to be with me, but there's someone even more important that is now going to be with me. My youngest daughter is going.
I was going to say, that's what I was going to say.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's very cool. I was like, how are you going to say that about Sketch?
How can you top Sketch?
Your daughter. It has to be your daughter. Yeah.
I booked her ticket Sunday night. Really, 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 really excited.
That's amazing. Being able to share that with your daughter, that's pretty amazing.
Yep. Have her making fun of me the whole time. It's going to be great.
That's good. That's what, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And you'll be whipping away, both of you guys.
It's going to be good. What is Marvelous saying? If you talk about Spidey Metal being released in a stream, it gets delayed another month. Everybody be quiet. Don't say a word. Don't want to delay
hold our breaths until it comes out.
Yeah.
Oh my good. Yeah, you know what though? It is really exciting how many people picked up the Miles Morales second print. And it was Brian initially that let me know, even when I thought it was like a $700-800 book, that he scooped one for like less than that. And I was like, wow, I might have to pick up a few more. That's a good price.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Now, I sent you a private message because I was watching Comic Tom's top 10, and they were like,
we can't tell anybody how much you paid.
No, I'm not a word.
Okay.
But people are saying, but they were like on the top 10. They were like, why is this on the list again? Out of nowhere. And I'm thinking, because of Manu. This guy,
right. You built the channel.
Mentioned it on the channel. And then, 300% uptick in sales week over week. and they want to know why. I was going to leave a comment. I decided to keep it quiet, but
That was really cool, actually. It did pop up right after that. That's really cool.
it did.
That's
It
really
did.
cool.
And you know what? I know that you inspired me to go back and look at it again. And I am insanely glad that I did. Because to me, however it worked out for me was the right time to buy it.
Mm.
And now I have a 9.8 of that book. I can set it aside and not worry about it anymore. And I'm really, really happy.
Yeah, it's an incredible book. It's an incredible book. It was Card Freak, he was in the market for one, and he was wondering, should I go with the custom label, not the custom label? There's a very small price difference. Well, not a small price difference, actually. It was about 10% the value of the book, the price
Yeah.
difference between custom label and not. And then together we decided both, there's no wrong answer. We could certainly support both directions, but he decided in the long term, if and when he's ready to sell it, the simple clean label will open up a wider field of buyers, because even if someone would like a custom label, they're not going to be opposed to a clean label.
Right.
But the alternative may not be true. If somebody only likes clean labels, well, your custom label is not an option for them.
Unless
So cool.
I'm going to give you an alternative.
Yeah.
Unless CGC is able to, and I'm not saying they're going to do this because it kind of sounds funny coming out of my mouth. I just want to go ahead and admit that. But if they're able to make something out of the retired label and how that becomes another aspect of collecting.
Oh, that is already. I mean, I've sold books for a premium because the label was retired. But you know what? Sometimes I'll just say that. But some of the labels aren't good looking. It doesn't matter if they're retired. Like, it's good that they're retired. Right? But some labels are special. And when they go away, there was a Carnage label. It's an incredible label. And when they retired that label, it was significant to have a book encased with that label. And perhaps that Miles Morales one will end up being the same way.
What about the Stan Lee retired label?
Oh, that's very important retired label. There is a premium on that label for a good reason. That's an incredibly significant label. The one with the silver Stan Lee signature on the label, very important label. You make a really good point.
You could have let me buy mine first before you said it. I should have.
I'm sorry. You said it. You did it, Justin. Marvel Pack says, I can tell Manu doesn't want CGC to grade Marvel cards until they get comics more consistent with the backlog and inconsistencies. Marvel Packs, you are right, but they're going to do what they're going to do. But you are absolutely right. I would prefer they don't do anything until they do what they were designed to do well. Their job is literally to pay attention. They're graders. So I take personal offense when there are scuffs, cracks, and imperfections and mistakes. That business exists to pay attention. And I think it's an oversight for them to start doing everything else in the world other than tighten up their initial operation. And that is how I feel. But I can't stop them from doing anything. So I'll just go ahead and support them, but be that voice in the background saying, hey guys, but don't forget to clean up your mess. While you're building new furniture, make sure you throw the trash out.
Yeah. And I'll give a counterpoint, which may or may not be true. I think they're two separate companies. They live in two separate P&Ls, two separate budgets, two separate hiring staffs, and don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. And I haven't talked to anybody in the Pokemon world who's getting cards graded through them to ask about what their experience has been. I think that would be more useful, more than likely. And, don't be surprised if they get it right on the Marvel card side and they still have their thing going on with the comic books or vice versa. Oh, Nas has spoken.
Audio.
There's echo.
What is Nas saying here?
Now I can hear the echo.
All right, let me try one thing, guys. Give me 1 second. We're going to do
You go ahead. So Nas says she prefers a clean one. Very cool.
Oh, the label?
This thing is echo.
That makes sense.
I will exit and return. Justin, keep everybody entertained.
I will. Absolutely. You're stuck with just me, guys. I hope I'm enough. Oh no, my face is big on the screen. So Constantine says, you guys are setting trends, and with great power comes great responsibility. So true. I totally just bought that Del Auto Miles 25 and didn't know it existed. Then I saw it and fell in love. And yeah, I'm really glad that you liked it. I liked it. I'm glad that you bought it. I think it's a great book. And at the same time, I hope that, everyone out there, goes through what a healthy decision is for when you're buying something. Number one, I would encourage you to know what it is first. I would encourage you to make sure that it's in your budget and that it fits in your collection. And so, if you're following those healthy, steps of making purchases, do it. And just know that Manu and I will continue to understand that what we say does have some power to it, as small as that may be, but there is a responsibility that comes with it as well. And I would love for Manu to respond also.
Let's catch up. Oh, that echo is certainly there. Let's power through it.
Mm-hmm.
You're setting trends, guys, and with great power comes great responsibility. I totally bought the Del Auto Miles. I didn't know it existed, and I saw it and fell in love. I mean, I picked up. I heard the last bit of what you were saying, and I think I'm just going to echo that, right? Because one thing, there are plenty of books that pop up that are really cool, and we want to go buy, but it's just so important to just make sure it's right for you, just to make sure that whatever it is that you're spending, you're not extending yourself, you're not missing anything. There's no one book that's going to go up in value, and that's the amount of money that was going to change your life. For every book that's going to go up in value that you didn't get, there's another one that's going to go up in value that you do have. So it's never that important. It's never that serious. And if it causes any stress or any tension at all, it's not worth it. This is supposed to be relaxing and stress-free all the way around. We shouldn't have to sell things that matter to us, that we need in our life, or compromise or sacrifice money that we need to live to buy books or cards or anything of that sort. So I think collectively we'll continue to practice responsibility, but we will definitely continue to, share what we buy. And if we find it cool and it works for us, we should pick it up too. But if we can't, that's perfectly fine, because there's other things that we can.
I love that. And Manu, and it lives in the space for me, like, hey, I just want to share it and I don't want you to miss out on it. And I'm sharing with you what I wish someone would share with me, or maybe they did share with me and I want to spread it. Right.
Yeah.
And know this is my commitment to everyone on this channel. If I'm trying to sell you something, I'm going to lead with, hey, I want to sell you this. Like,
Justin, I want to ask you, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I want you to know that I'm going to be clear and upfront and say, this is me selling you something. Do you want to buy it?
Exactly. And if you're transparent, then that's beautiful. So I noticed that my echo's gone, and I noticed you now have headphones on.
As you're over there working and struggling, my thought process is, I'm listening to you through my speakers, and maybe my mic was picking it up. And so I said, let me go ahead and see if that deduction helps with the echo, and let us know in the comments if it did. Obviously, I prefer not to wear them, but I will gladly wear them.
I have a feeling that's what was happening, because I certainly hear no echo now. And you know what? This is what people do. They try to make me feel like it's my fault. They try to make me feel like I'm the one that's not just.
It was definitely Manu. I'm taking the blow now for his sake.
Oh, CGC's paying you, Justin? Is CGC paying you?
Not yet, but if they do, I will start off with, this is a sponsored video by CGC.
Elijah, my man, how are you? Hello. I'm doing well, thank you, and I hope you are also. Matt's in the building. Matt Smith, my guy, made it. What's up?
Yeah,
perfect timing. Right when I got rid of the echo, you jump in. I love it.
That is
good. I love it. This is cool. So wait, we were talking about the Miles Morales. Okay, no, that's okay. There's something that I'm going to bring up a little bit later, and we'll definitely get into it. In the world of cards, it's already gone now, and I just wanted to let you know that it's already sold, so it's not changing anything. But for anyone that doesn't know, there was a PSA 10 of a 2000, I forget the year, but it was the Achievements Venom PSA 10, the patterned one where you had to trade 100 cards on e-pack to get it. It was a pop 3. It was a gorgeous card. It popped up for $900 a best offer, and I did what I always do, lowball the snot out of whoever was selling it, right? And they must have declined my offer. And then like I just stared at it for a while. Like I favorited it and waited for them to send me an offer to see if that was acceptable for me. But it stayed up for about 4 or 5 days, and then somebody paid the full 900 for it. There hasn't been a day that's gone by that I'm not devastated that I don't own that card. It is such a beautiful card, Justin. How does one cope with something that it's my own fault?
All right. It is your fault, and I'm glad
It
you
is.
see it that way.
Yeah.
I'm just messing
Well,
with
yeah,
you.
this one is. There's no
Okay.
echo here.
No echo here. All right. I'm going to give you the advice my dad used to give me. To get over one, you have to get with another.
Fair enough. Fair
To get over one, you have to get with another. You got to find that other card.
Well, I bought a few since then.
Did it help?
No, because it wasn't that shiny.
All right. So I'm going to confess that I think that was the worst advice my dad could ever give me, by the way.
Okay. Oh my God.
And I love him. I love him. He's awesome. But yeah, not great advice.
If anybody has one of those, man, there's something else I want to talk about. Dude, I have so much on my mind that I shouldn't even say, but I just want to. And I'm going to bring this back into the world of comic books. Naj is here. Naj is going to get really upset with me.
Yeah.
Because I shouldn't say this.
Okay.
So right now we're in a market. It's a buyer's market. It is a buyer's market, right?
You have to define.
Meaning certain, the climate is such that prices are coming down and sellers are competing with one another to get the sale.
To find the bottom.
To find the bottom. And in order to do, they're dropping their prices and buyers can just sit back and wait. If there's anything where there's multiple on the market, a buyer can sit back and wait.
I saw a post on Instagram that said, here's this card on auction. Current bid is this price, and I'll sell it below it. Below the bid. The auction's not finished.
There you go.
And they're willing to sell below the current bid. So to your point.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, but here's where I want to go with this. Some things don't need to be put on sale. Some things, when you have no other ones available, just because as a seller or as an inexperienced seller, perhaps, you feel, oh my gosh, I have to sell everything right now. Everything's going down in price. No, if you're the only person that owns that one thing or the only person that has one available on the market, you don't have to drop the price of it. And what I'm talking about, I'll leave the specific of the book out. Manu, I think there's one Rainbow Venom for 2K. I don't know if I like I want to see what that is. I'll look at it. It's just the silver pattern one really spoke to me. It was so clean and elegant. I loved it.
You're talking about the metal base pattern achievement from Flair Ultra Spider-Man.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. So I will look into that though. Thank you, I Love Podcast. There was a particular book that was sold on Elite, the consignment site, and I spoke to them after this as well. This is a $6,000 book. And somebody told Elite, I want to list it for $2,899, presumably just for it to sell. And of course it's sold.
Yeah.
But that's devastating because there are other people that own that book and they care what the value of that book is and what it maintains. Now, there isn't another one in the market, so that doesn't mean that everyone's going to start selling for $3,000, but the last sale was literally $6,000.
Right.
And so I contacted Elite and I said, is there a reason for this? Like, why did you guys, they work on a fee basis. They're 5% or 6% of what it sells for. So the more it sells for, they make more money as well. Yeah. So on 3,000, they make 150, right? Yeah. So they could have made double that. I mean, they're selling so many books. I'm sure they didn't really, it's like, oh, that's what you want to sell it for. See, to them, listing it for that price makes great sense because they know it's going to sell and they're going to at least get something.
Yeah.
So I hit them up. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. No, keep going.
I hit them up and I just said, why? Respectfully, why? And they said, no real reason. The seller had it up for a day, didn't sell. He asked us to reduce the price to that price. We did, and then it sold. That's it.
He gave it a day.
I believe so. Yeah, it was one day. I believe so. And they were like, and that's it. And so, I mean, listen, an Elite, a day is a long time because books get buried. Your book posts and then they put 50 more books above yours, right? And so,
and this is all on is this on IG where they post?
Yeah, this is on their Instagram page where it's a
Hmm.
grid, so it's not like your book is going to stay in the top row of 3 for more than an hour anyway. And
Right.
then what's going to pop up on top of your book is going to be an Amazing Fantasy 15. It's going to be it's going to be all this most amazing stuff in the world, and you're like,
Right.
oh, here's my 423, and no one cares, and I'm getting pushed
Wait,
out.
so it was a Batman book?
No, it wasn't. I used that as
Okay,
an
all right.
example
You use it. Okay,
intentionally. Yeah,
you slide
yeah,
devil, you.
yeah. No, I don't want to tell which book it is because I don't want it to
You
be a
don't want to give
comp.
that sale that attention. And look, so
Yeah.
all right, high level conversation. One sale doesn't make a comp.
In comic books, it kind of does though, especially when there's only 6 on
Mm.
the census. Well, no, there's way more than 6 of this. No. You know what? I'm gonna change my way of thinking because
Mhm.
what you said last time made a lot of sense. One sale doesn't make a comp. Take the high, take the low, find an average. Whatever you said, you can repeat it now because it was really
Yeah,
important actually.
and I would caution you that mean, median, and mode. If you bring back math, and I don't mean to have a math class, but mean is when you take the total number of something and divide it by the number of those somethings, right? And you get an average.
Hmm.
However, that is actually a very poor way to determine a comparable. And because you
Hmm.
can have extremes, you can have not true, sales. You can have undue influence, meaning what you don't know about that person is they had to make a mortgage payment. And it didn't
Right.
matter what the book was worth.
Yeah, but you could have called me up. I would have gave you 4,000 for
I'm
it.
with you, but that's why one sale doesn't make a comp, because
Yeah.
there are other elements around a sale that makes it a true fair market value, which is a healthy terminology, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And part of a healthy terminology of fair market value is what you would call reasonable exposure. Reasonable exposure means that the marketplace had enough time to digest that it was available and had enough of the competition to be able to say, can I get something better at a better price?
Hmm.
And if the answer is no, then yeah, that's the thing you purchase. So just by posting on Elite, which seems like a pretty big platform, but you immediately went into the narrative, it probably got buried and
It
then only
did.
had one day.
Hmm.
So the opposite is true. If it is sold for a high price, it may not be a fair market sale.
Mm.
It may not be a true comp. And
Mm.
so then you look at mode. Mode is when, if you have a range of sales of a particular book, you're looking for the sale that pops up the most. And then that's like the best indicator of fair market value. Okay.
Mm.
And then you
Yeah.
have median, which is what is that sale that's truly in the middle of the range, not averaged out, but truly in the middle. And I would tell you that in a lot of comparable type of analysis, depending on the subject matter, that's what typically people use. When mode is not available, you go to a median, and then at last you go to a mean, which is an average. And so what would I tell you? That sale would be almost irrelevant to me if I'm using a proper analysis to determine what is a fair market value. And if I have some sense of what went on around the sale, then yeah, I likely know that it's not a comp anyways.
I'm so glad that I brought this up because that not only brings me peace, but I think
Mhm.
it's a very important perspective. And if anybody ever comes to me and says, "Hey, well, this sold for this much," I'm going to say, "Well, you don't know what was going on in that person's life, okay? They might have needed to pay their mortgage tomorrow. I don't. I'm not cutting the price in half."
Yeah, well, and I would follow it up with, if you can find a better book at a better price than what I'm offering today, then I'm with you. I'm
Right.
overpriced.
Right.
But until you can go find a better book at a better price, know that I'm the best book and best price available right now. And
Yeah,
scarcity
very
is
good
part of
point.
determining market value, and value is determined and defined as of a specific date. And that's a part that a lot of people miss.
Yeah.
It's
Very
as of
good
at
point.
this moment what's available for sale. And if mine's the only one available, we'll know then I'm the best book at the best price.
And Naj is thanking you for that explanation, and I am as well. Yeah,
Well, you're
definitely.
very welcome.
And Kent said your favorite saying, sinking tides, the opposite of your favorite. He said sinking tides lower all boats as well.
I'm not a big fan of that saying.
I know. That saying and Twizzlers or whatever they were.
Yeah, chemical candy. I saw some chemical cereal. I almost sent it to you the other day. I was like, this stuff makes me want to vomit looking at it. But
What's Brian? What's Obi? What is he saying? He says since we're talking market stuff, since
mm,
I've sold on Golden before, I got an email with info that in August they're going to have a non-sports only auction for comics, Marvel games, etc. They do
Mhm.
that from time to time, don't they? Golden has non-sports like specifically auctions.
Um, no, I don't think in the way he's describing it. They have
Mm,
segments of their auctions that are non-sports, but I think
mm.
he's and well, you know what? I think they've done this one other time that I can think of now, where it's totally pop culture. It's totally
Oh,
non-sports. And
yeah.
there's and here's what's important. If that's true, and if I'm reading it the way it's actually going to happen, that means all the money that's being focused that evening on the auction will all be going into non-sports, not any of the dollars chasing sports cards on the auction. If that's true, that could be a big auction for non-sports.
That's going to be cool to watch. All right, that's coming up in August. Very cool.
Mhm.
Nice one. Nice one indeed. Very nice.
Funky Mint says, "Remember, you haven't lost money until you sell it." That's there's some
Who said
psychology
that?
to that.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And you could tie that back into everything else. Justin,
Mhm.
this falls perfectly. Look, 2008 real estate market crashed, right? It took
Mhm.
10 years for it to come back and then it would even higher. If you could have afforded your mortgage and you didn't care about what the value was on paper, you did great. But you had to be able to afford
Yeah.
your mortgage and you had to be able to withstand the pressure of everyone saying your house is down 70%. It doesn't matter because I'm not selling it.
Do you know that the average person that bought it, if they bought a house in 2008, and I'm not going to try to make this a real estate video, okay?
Sure. Yeah,
They
yeah.
bought a house in 2008 at a 6.25% interest rate. They have a $500,000 in equity today.
Right.
Today, a half
Yeah.
million dollars, like
Yeah.
10 years worth of salary
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
equity in their house.
Yeah.
Who cares what the flipping rate was, and who cares what the sales price was or wasn't the day after they bought it? They stayed the
Yeah.
course because you know what they
Exactly.
had? They had something of real need and necessity and value, and comic books is not it. Okay, let me go ahead and say that. And the other cool, part about it is in 2008 there was over 3 million houses available for sale. Today there's less than a million. And you say, well, why are we not having a housing crash? Well, because there's not enough houses.
Mm.
And so if you're thinking about how do you apply that into collecting, and real estate doesn't transition perfectly in collecting, but it
No,
is
not
it
perfectly.
it is a foundation of a market, and we have elements of it in all markets. And what I would tell you, you want to collect things that are truly collectible if you're thinking about resale, that have true rarity, true desirability, that's gonna stay the course. Make
Absolutely right.
sense? So
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. What was the name of who asked that question or who made that comment about selling?
it's on the
Do
screen.
I heard okay, okay. For some reason I heard Pokey. I thought it was a Pokemon name. And that actually makes me want to bring up something. We're a card community here, and we
Yeah.
don't talk about Pokemon. I don't know anything about Pokemon, but I read
It
something on Don Diego's page. Everyone
yeah,
knows Don Diego, correct?
everybody. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of hers. I love what
Mhm,
she does for the community. I love the energy that she brings to the community. I love how passionate she is. I like the diversity that she brought into the community.
mhm.
All of it. And I don't even do Pokemon, but it's cards. It's the hobby. It's collecting. And I think it was the day after Father's Day. It was the day after Father's Day, so that was yesterday.
Yesterday. Mhm.
She put up a post that kind of broke my heart. And it was 5 swipes, paragraph on each swipe, and she said yesterday is a very special Father's Day is a very special day for her because Father's Day is what because her father was a collector, is a collector,
Mm,
and so brought her into collecting. And then she said it was also the day that she thought of quitting the hobby. So obviously I kept reading. Apparently there are some people on the internet, which I've never seen this content, so I'm glad I wasn't exposed to it, that have like a crazy thing going on where they're making bits of videos and content and just attacking her left, right, and center. Now I haven't seen it. I haven't gotten the exposure to it, but it was so bad that she decided I'm going to take a week off. And that was really a challenge for me to accept. I was like, you can't take a week. I mean, she can't. Whatever's right for her,
mhm,
obviously, is right. It's you. Sometimes you got to unplug. But I was upset about that. Like, how is
mhm,
Don Diego? You're like a superhero out here,
mhm,
and you're going to take a week off because they must have been really upsetting and really mean, whatever this stuff was. But I didn't see it. And I just wanted to bring that up because in that she says, sexism, racism, these gatekeepers in the collecting community.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not a fool. I can believe it, but I haven't seen it. And I just thought we were past that.
Mm.
That's really a thing happening in the community, in such a great community. So I wanted to shout out Don Diego. And I know when she comes back, she's going to come back stronger than ever because she's a staple out here in the community.
Yeah, I certainly know of her and have seen her stuff. Everything seems to be bright and light and
Yeah.
easy. There is a commercialism about her, and I think she's pretty open about that,
Yeah.
meaning that she's selling something. And,
And that's fine. That's very fine.
right, like that's actually really good. I think a lot of people dream of taking their hobby and making a living out of it. And why not? you know? But at the same time, if we can send her some love, let's do it. Go encourage her and, help her to stay the course. I don't know if it's true, but I can tell you I have a thought in my head that, you know, first they, first they like you, right? And then they hate you. And then later, maybe they respect you. And I hope that
Mm,
she can get past the hate that she's feeling right now that comes with maybe the growth and popularity that she might be experiencing. And hopefully
yeah.
one day if she keeps her head held high and her head, keeps doing the work and being positive, that maybe she can gain some respect. But, they're as much as people can be kind, they can be unkind. And that is unfortunate.
Yeah, let's all show her some love. Let's all just let's flood her DM with a bunch of messages that she may never see because she's pretty popular.
What are
But
these
let's go
Marvel
ahead and send her
guys
a DM.
doing in my DMs? Get out of there.
Right? And then let her know what channel it all came
Yeah,
from. Why
that's
not?
right. That's right. Apparently, I think she was in Dallas when we were there. I never saw her though. That would have been fun.
Yeah, I think she was because she did some content with Mojo, and Mojo Sports is actually out here from the Bay Area. He's a really great guy, really cool energy. Love his channel, love what he's doing. And he's from Fairfield, so he's not too far away from me. And
Mhm.
dude, I just love the card community. Like I love even when there's like ups and downs in the economy, whatever. It's like I said on my Instagram story the other day. I was making commentary about grading companies where companies can fail, but collecting can't. But
Yeah.
that could go to anything. Economies can fail, but collecting can't. Collecting is not about value. Collecting is not about investment.
Oh,
Collecting is collecting. It's what we
you,
do.
you're reminding me. So I'm in Paris, France. I'm at the Louvre Museum. Incredible. Please go if you haven't been.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm walking around and I'm taking my time and I come into this exhibit and they have all these little statue figurines, like insanely, sculpted. I'll bring up Superman, like insanely
Uh-huh.
sculpted
Yeah.
and, just really cool. And I'm looking at it, and what it turns out is that people would be buried with these statues, okay, in their graves, and then years later they became collectible. And so people would then go dig up the graves to get these
Whoa.
statues, and
Yeah.
these statues became, very sought after collectibles. And they had this historic aspect. You had to go be willing to rob a grave to get it out and then have your collectible statue. But to your point, people have been collecting since they could hoard something and say it's mine.
Right. Right. There's a comment here that's really got my attention because I didn't know anything about what anyone was talking about. I don't know if we're supposed to highlight it, but Dan has said something here.
All right,
I
let's highlight it.
Okay. So Dan
uh,
says,
mhm.
oh, but he also followed it up with something. So this is just for informational purposes, so we can be brought up to speed about what the controversy might be. We're
Yep.
not implying or taking any side, of course. Apparently, she accidentally almost bought her boyfriend's card from Heritage Auctions on a live stream they did. She got called out for it, and that's why people are going after her for shilling. Okay, so there. Now we have that. We don't know anything, but now we have that. And then he goes on to say, I definitely don't support any sort of personal attacks, just trying to give some background. Thank you, Dan. Much appreciated. Because I didn't even know that. I was like, who's attacking Don Diego? So that gives me a little bit of
Mhm.
insight. And I hope whatever that is gets cleared up. And, that comes with the territory a little bit. We get caught up in
Mhm.
a little bit of drama every now and then in cards and comics and things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. Really appreciate that.
And all right, I'm going to add this to it. So I'll take the risk here.
Hmm.
Shame should not be a weapon.
Mm.
It shouldn't be a weapon that we use, socially speaking, like on media and things of
Hmm.
that nature,
Hmm.
especially in the realm of don't know. have a hunch, think it may be true, heard somebody say it. I don't have any facts myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's not use shame in that situation. Let's use a conversation.
Yeah.
Let's go be with somebody in a way that's like meaningful. And when I say meaningful, like maybe they did do something wrong and they need to be shown a better way.
It's always a possibility.
It's
Yeah.
a possibility. And I know
Yeah.
that there was, a comment earlier that, hey, we can't press our defects, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would disagree. The guy you have in front of you right now is not the guy I was at one time in the past. Like there's been work
Facts.
done.
Facts.
And there's been time where people have come to me with a lot of love and said, hey, Justin, like I need you to know this area is hurting other people. This way of being, this thing you're doing or whatever it is, like it's hurting people. And I actually have a sense that maybe deep down you actually care about them, and that creates change. And it wasn't Shane that did that. And I would just like to see, at least from social media, like comments and DMs and videos about people you don't really know. Like that shouldn't be used as a weapon. Go have a conversation with them. Maybe invite them on your channel and say, hey, this is how it appears. Let's talk about it. What happened? Why would that be wrong? Can you understand like how perception is often viewed as reality, and you have to own how you can be perceived, whether you like it or not.
Very true. And you're right. There are some defects that have been pressed amongst people.
Yeah.
There's work that can be done, and you are proof of it. We've had some conversation, and to approach it with compassion and a place of trying to understand rather than an accusatory sort of position, it could make all of the difference in the world.
Because here's the sad, I'm going to be really brutally honest.
Okay.
Not everybody can take it, and some then take their own life because of it. And I'm saying that as someone who's standing here today who got the news that a father left his 3 daughters this week in my community. And so, let's not do that. Because it is actually still cards, right?
Wow. That's powerful stuff, my friend. My goodness. Compassion. We definitely need to have compassion.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely need to take a moment to try to understand what actually might be happening rather than getting upset because somebody else put together a compelling commentary on the internet.
Yep.
Right. And, and just to lighten it up just a bit, but stay on the topic, it's much like what happened a few weeks ago with those masterpieces auctions where I thought this is funny. But even me, I can come off quite strong. But if you play the clip back multiple times, I'm saying, but listen, guys, I don't know anything.
Right.
Literally, I want everyone to know this is me observing and thinking, what is going on here? And Derek is the gentleman's name that was responsible for the sales. He saw that video. And he paid a lot of attention while he watched it. He didn't just watch one part of it. And he responded to every bid that I had a question about. And he put together a very long, well-worded, funny as well, comment underneath that video. And I sent him a series of I appreciated it. I sent him a series of voice notes on Instagram. And we didn't have much conversation, but he responded in a way that appreciated the voice notes. And I think that was handled well. Like, I thought something suspicious was happening, and he understood why I thought something suspicious was happening. But not at any point was it, this is definitely scam. It wasn't that. And nobody took it that way, and no one ran with it that way. But he was definitely like, Manu, you could have just hit me up on Instagram before saying it, but this is my avenue. This is where I'm going to voice my opinion. And he understood that as well. But that was kind of it concluded from a place of understanding and conversation. It was like, well, why does it look this way? Let's talk about it. And that's what we did.
And to your point, it's not saying, hey, we're not going to have difficult conversations, or we're not going to call out situations that either have an appearance of wickedness or just blatantly are wicked. What we're not going to do is then turn around and shame that person to the point of, creating further harm. It's not, we're not here to fight fire with fire, so to speak. We're here to put it out, right?
Exactly right.
And then
Exactly right.
Mhm.
Definitely. Wow. But I hope to bring it back to what sort of started this very important dialogue,
Mhm.
actually. I hope Don Diego has a chance to speak her side of it. And I hope she comes back with the calm and a peace that allows her to speak her side of it. Because I know everyone's going to listen. It's
Mhm.
not like she's going to put her opinion or her message out there. No one's going to hear it. Tens of thousands of people are going
Yeah.
to hear it. So I hope that happens.
And maybe that community is better for it. That's the hope.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, we tend to be better for all of the challenges that we overcome,
Yeah,
you know,
no
and
doubt.
and that's kind of beautiful, actually, you know.
And I say all this raising my hand. You have a guy over here who knows he doesn't have it all together. Like, hang around long enough, and I'm going to screw up. And I'm praying that I have some people in my life that care enough to say, "Hey, Justin." And I kind of talk about it this way. I'll give you. I've shared this with Kent before. He's in the channel. He's going to remember this.
Yeah.
But it goes back to relationships. Okay. And like if I go through the drive-through at Wendy's, okay, and I order a spicy chicken, add cheese, it's typically a number 6. I haven't been to Wendy's in a while, but let's say it still
Okay.
is. Okay.
Okay.
With a sweet tea, because I'm from the South, right?
I got
And
you.
I pull up to the window and I don't know the person in the drive-through. They hand me my food, take my card, hand me my food. I drive off, and guess what? There's no cheese. I might say, well, yeah, they're not Chick-fil-A, right? Or go figure. That's just what happens when I go to Wendy's. But let's rewind the story, and let's say my grandma is in the drive-through and I ordered the number 6, add cheese on the spicy chicken sandwich with the sweet tea, pull up, and grandma's flustered. She's busy. She hands me the bag, says, "Love you, baby. Talk to you later." And I pull off and it doesn't have the cheese. What am I going to think? How did grandma forget my cheese? How dare she do that? No, that's not what I'm going to think. I'm going to go, something's wrong with grandma. She knows I love cheese on my sandwich. She must be upset or hurt. She may be doing the best she can with what she has to work with. But I'm going to think that way because I actually care about the person in the window. And so what I've been working around myself is, hey, can I have that thought process with as many people as possible, where I'm not thinking of things just as a transaction, where I'm actually really being with people in a way that, like, I'm understanding that, yeah, it may suck. I maybe didn't get my cheese, to keep the analogy going a little too far, but maybe they're doing the best they have. They can with
Yeah.
what they have to work with.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, compassion,
Mm-hmm.
empathy.
Yep.
Take a moment for that. You know, it actually took a lot of work for me to get to that point as well, because I probably would have been that guy many, many years ago. If there's no cheese on my sandwich, the world's against me.
Yeah, that's just a transaction. No, no,
They
no.
left my cheese out because they wanted to leave my cheese out.
Mm-hmm.
That's not why. That's really never why. Very, very, very good.
All
Very
right.
good indeed.
Enough philosophical talk from Justin.
Yeah.
Back to cards. Back to comics.
It says grandma prefers KFC. That's what it says here.
I'm with you, but putting cheese on a chicken leg is just, grandma will probably just leave that off because that doesn't make sense.
All right, we missed a couple of things. I see a $10,000 figure here. What is that about? Look at what happens with the backyard, guys. They still selling brakes after keeping
Well,
a $10,000 plus car. Wait, what is this?
okay, I'll give you a little backstory.
Okay.
So,
Okay, cool.
Backyard Breaks, it's just a different channel. It's
Oh, okay.
it's on Whatnot primarily, and they have insanely high energy. It's really think over the top, jump on the table, beat your chest, rip your shirt off. Almost no filter when it comes to language that is used,
Okay.
while breaking boxes of sports cards. Okay.
Okay.
And they had a couple of situations where on camera, they did some things that are not kosher in the hobby. And one of
Okay.
those was they pulled a card that probably should have went to a person that had bought into that break. And they said, this is too good of a card. We're going to keep it. And
This is not speculation. This is fact. This happened.
I would like to keep it in the realm of Justin doesn't know fully what he's talking about,
Okay.
but maybe
That's
knows
important.
enough to give a little context to the statement here.
Got it. Perfect.
And And, and just know that a lot of people say, yeah, it was absolutely black and white wrong, and there's no question about it. And then maybe some don't. And one of those people who live in the some don't world is the head of Fanatics. Okay. So there's there's two sides of that. Well, couple that with the fact they then hit the number one card to be released this year in a product, which is the triple logo man LeBron James.
This is who Naj was telling me about.
Yes.
Drake was after that card.
Drake, yeah. I have a whole inner thought process about that, but whatever. Yeah, Drake is after that card. That is definitely the narrative. And so, so anyhow, of all the channels that opened it, they did, and there were probably a lot of other Whatnot. And why is it important? Here's why it's important on Whatnot. What was going on at that time is Whatnot said, hey, if somebody reveals this card on their stream, we're going to give them a Lamborghini, a yellow Lamborghini. And then they opened it, and so they got the yellow Lamborghini to go with the card that somebody bought into and broke, and now it's a golden auction. And his point is, even though it was shady, even though it was all this negative publicity around them, they're now the number one channel on Whatnot, hands down, without question. Last I checked.
What's the moral of the story? That it doesn't matter if someone does something shady?
That bad publicity is better than no publicity, I think, is kind of the moral of the story. They overcame it, and they have a lot of supporters now. I think that's what he's getting at. And if it's not, DO6, let us know, but that's the way I took it.
I'm glad that we had that little conversation there. Naj did tell me about them, because Naj and I, we many months ago, we had a bit of a debate about Whatnot. I'm not a huge fan of Whatnot for certain things. For certain things, I think Whatnot is fantastic. But to quickly buy comic books in a 30-second auction, to me, depending on the price of the book, is quite dangerous. You don't know what you're buying in 30 seconds when it comes to a comic book. You don't have much time to do your price research, whatever, but I love Whatnot for what it is. If it works for you, if you're the sort of person that likes the rush and the thrill of that, from time to time overpaying immensely for the thing just because you got caught up in the hype.
Not even a little bit.
No. It has it's its own ecosystem. It doesn't matter what it's worth elsewhere. I'm going to win this thing here.
So think about it this way. I'll tell you again, this is how it lives over here with Justin. It is buying a good time, and it's probably the close to going to a casino that I'll ever get.
Sure.
And why am I more likely to go to Whatnot? Because it's thematically what I want to risk for or gamble for, so to speak. And I think that is what it is for a lot of people. And maybe there's some people who figured out a system of being able to win on Whatnot as buyers. But I think right now it's still a developing space where I'm not sure the sellers are winning either. And
some sellers definitely are not. Some sellers are definitely operating on very slim to no margin of profit at all. And they're just excited to be on there building a reputation. Sometimes you start a business, you're going to lose for a couple of years. But if you build a big enough reputation, you're good.
Yeah, because here's what we don't know. I mean, there may be a time in the future where Whatnot says, okay, no more sellers. We're going to live with the ones we got, and all of a sudden you own some real estate on the platform. And so being on there may be important. There's going to be a time here pretty soon where TikTok, you got to pay to play. Right now, it's still free, and people are able to grow immense systems, with it. But
that's a thing that's going to happen.
That's what's happened with Facebook. Facebook used to stand for free, but now you got to pay.
Pay for what on Facebook?
Well, you can post, but Facebook is really throttling who and how much people see your stuff if you're not paying to play. And then, but TikTok will eventually head that direction too, if it hasn't already. I'm not on TikTok well enough to know, but my point is, it's a developing space, and it may be important to just be on there at some point and be worth the fight.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. I never really, to me, I found it distasteful that actually that's the wrong word to use. I mean, okay, Whatnot's really good at marketing. Whatnot, and they're really phenomenal at it. I mean, full disclosure, guys, I wanted to invest in Whatnot when they were raising the $4 million round, and they told my friend and I that they already raised it and that our money was no good.
Oh, so okay, there's the distaste.
So yeah, so there was already a little bit of a thing where, when they started to blow up, I was like, I could have had a piece of that.
Well, I blame Instagram, and I'm gonna just pause just for a second because we were starting to sell on Instagram last year, and then Instagram would not allow comments to show up as claimed or whole or buy or whatever. They were deliberately, because Instagram couldn't monetize it. They didn't have a system built where you could sell on Instagram and Instagram could get a piece of it. And so in the comments, it would hide comments when people would try to claim a purchase. I promise it
Wait,
was happening.
where, on
This
what?
was last year on Instagram during the summer, and then boom, magically Whatnot pops up, and it's exactly Instagram with a buying platform. That's what it is in terms of the way it presents itself. We were doing it last year on Instagram. We were doing trade nights, and then comments wouldn't post because people put the word claim. And
Oh, you mean in a
Instagram
live?
in a
You're not on
live
a
stream.
post, in a
No,
live. Yeah,
I'm
things.
sorry.
Oh, okay,
While
gotcha.
live, that's important.
Yes,
If you didn't have that in your mind, nothing I said made sense.
I'm
Yes,
caught
while
up
you
now.
were live, you could sell on Instagram, and it was not allowing messages to pop up that were claims. And so some people started moving to Whatnot at that point.
Wow,
Mhm.
very interesting.
Because what if Instagram had a Whatnot, capability to it with already the base it already has? It'd be pretty interesting.
I wonder when they're going to implement that. There was a conversation I had with somebody many, many years ago, and I said, we need to have a QVC for selling collectibles, and that's what Whatnot was. That's what
Right.
Whatnot came out with. And the closest we had to that was really like a YouTube Live. Like that's where you could bring the biggest audience in. And then during the pandemic, obviously Instagram became the same sort of thing. It's your own personal little QVC. Now, one of the things that it's just nuanced, right? There's certain things you might not want to buy on Whatnot, and there's certain things that you're going to have a great time buying on Whatnot. But they're such a beast at marketing. Like it actually irritates me. Like I don't like the over the top yelling and this fabricated excitement to make everyone feel like crap if they didn't get the biggest card because I don't like it. And then when you see the advertisements they're running now, it's all the biggest sales, just a screen recording of it, and they're putting tens of thousands of dollars pushing these ads because every video I watch ends with a Whatnot ad
Yeah.
of them, of the Ultimate Fallout 4 Durjovic, copy
Right.
selling for $30,000 or this card selling for $5,000 and so on and so forth. And I'm like, man, I hope people can see through the hype a little bit. But that's the thing about advertising. I'm from a background of advertising, so this is the thing about advertising.
Yeah, this is the matrix for you. You've already eaten the red pill or blue pill or whatever it is, and you see things maybe more for what they are than what they appear.
Some of it is bad. Like some of the tactics are very what's the word? I forget the word. Predatory. They're very predatory, and I just hope it's obvious to some people. Because they're using psychology in a really strong way. And when you have an audience of excited young people, that stuff works.
Yeah. So I'll play the role of devil's advocate because I think it's a good conversation. And it's that, hey, look, like we're a bunch of responsible adults. You're the one who signed up. You're the one who loaded your credit card. You're the one who clicked on the live stream. And you're the one who hit the button to pay. And why is that the seller's fault on Whatnot? Yes, there's yes, there's hype music. Yes, there's lights. Yes, there's excitement. Yes, there's conversation around how this card's great and maybe it really isn't, and maybe that card's available on eBay for $2 and you just paid $48 for it. But shouldn't that be the responsibility of the person buying? And again, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm not giving my personal opinion.
I always take the side of, I mean, I'll contradict myself and I'll be a bit of a hypocrite, but I'm going to, it's going to end up being what's reasonable, and what's reasonable is accountability is very reasonable. At the end of the day, advertising obviously works and some people are affected more than others. Hype obviously works and some people are affected more than others, but I'll always say, well, you got to be responsible for yourself.
So here's what accountability may look like. The accountability may be, hey, I'm a seller and I actually really know what this is, so I'm not going to overhype it.
Some sellers do that. Some sellers would be like, guys, stop bidding. Okay. I'm happy. I paid $5 for it. It's at $50. It's worth 25. Just let's move on to the next book.
And I'll give one more side. And again, because my view of Whatnot is entertainment, I want you to know, like, I know what I'm looking at because I'm only looking at Marvel card stuff. And I do have, maybe that's an advantage, but I do. And I put a lot of work into knowing what I'm looking at. Nobody handed it to me. So do the work. And I know that I'm buying a good time and I'm likely not going to get my money back. But there are things that I don't do for a good time that would cost just as much money. Like I don't go out and drink. I don't. And I have
That
some
gets
sense
very
of what
expensive very
I have
fast,
some sense
actually.
of how much that would cost, at
Yeah.
$12 a pop. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, and so I'm doing it within the realm of what I can afford, and I somewhat have a limit when I go in, and if I'm going to do it, and I hope that that's true for everyone else.
Yeah. Just be careful out there on Whatnot, guys. Everything that glitters ain't gold.
Mm-hmm. Okay, real quick, we do have to mention that if you don't know, eBay does appear to be developing a Whatnot
Yeah.
selling capability where you don't have to wait 7 days for the auction. How about 30 seconds? Go.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
That's going to
excited
be
to see
interesting.
Whatnot get into the game.
Brian, thank you. You mean eBay. And
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
no, you're good.
Brian, yes.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian. That is very nice of you to
Our
say.
auctions are chill. Stop by and say, hey, oh, sweet. Love it. Okay. I will tell you,
Very cool.
in an effort not to lose our audience, there is a Whatnot that I will go to as soon as we go off of live that's going on right now. And I have a sense that our viewership has already been impacted by it.
Oh, which one is it? Let's
It's
talk
the
about it anyway.
1996 Marvel Masterpieces, Whatnot. Do we want to watch it together?
Can you pull it up?
I can pull it up on my phone.
Let's just see it real quick. Let's have fun
do
with
it.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
This would be fun. And there we
Our
go.
viewers are already over there anyway.
Yeah. Okay, we got a big hand. But is he actually okay? So, all right, let's talk about what's happening here. Do you see this box? Can you see that well?
Dude, that's a sealed 96 masterpiece box.
He's ripping it right now.
Who is it? Who's the
Yes.
person?
This is Spin Doctor Sports Cards. Really nice guy.
Cool.
And I do have some sense he does do a good job running his Whatnot with what little bit I do know. Okay.
Exciting. All right.
And look, we have some people that agree he's a good friend, and so I'm glad that he's having that support here. And he knows what the collecting community wants. He opened up a box of Black Diamond Sunday night, got me for a smooth 220. Okay.
Okay.
And I got about I don't know, like an $11, $12 card out of that. So, and but this box, is $6,000 or $7,000 box pretty easily.
Yeah.
I don't know what he paid for it. That's not the point of what I'm telling you. And there's 18 packs in it. And these 18 packs go low end $300, high end $600. And I'm not sure what he's selling them for tonight, but I think it's like 500 and something.
So he's going to sell the pack and then open the pack and then ship the cards to whoever purchased the pack.
Correct.
No one's just going to get a pack shipped to them.
Sorry, Bowman said, please stop advertising Whatnot stream so I can afford some of these 96. I'm sorry. My apologies. Look,
yo, that ship has sailed, man.
Yeah, but look how beautiful, guys.
So
oh my gosh.
I wouldn't do, what I would do, I don't know.
$80 a card. I would feel better at $50 a card. But here's what I love about Whatnot, and what would have me be on Whatnot is the fact that somebody might be paying me to open this kind of stuff, even if it's at break even.
That's so cool. Yeah. Yeah. So, you get to just have your fun opening, experiencing.
It is not okay. Yeah. Yeah. So people are, so they now know on the stream that they're on YouTube. But here's the thing. Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't like that it's not recorded. And so this box is now going to be open unless somebody does something clever here in a minute. It'll never be relived.
And they would have to have a very long screen recording.
You could do a long screen record, but one of the reasons why I do what I do on my channel is there was a season in my life where I couldn't have afforded any of these cards, and YouTube was the only place I could enjoy it. And I know that there's likely more people like that in the world than not. And I want them to have the ability to do that at some point, to be able to enjoy it and relive it, so to speak, for free on YouTube.
Yeah, I agree, especially with a box like that.
There's a historical aspect of this. I know of one other box that was open like this on YouTube, maybe two that I can think of. And now I won't get any rest tonight if he's opening the whole box.
You opened a pack the other day, and I watched the opening of another cool box, but I was like, when are we gonna get to that pack?
I know. I made people wait. I did. I absolutely did.
Dude, the video you did with Michael the other morning with the
Yeah.
boxes you were opening, I was really excited about the Pepsi box.
Right.
You guys are hitting Spidey prisms, Punisher prisms,
I
Ghost
know.
Rider prisms, three of each in that box.
Over and over. It was
Did
insane.
Dustin get his Gambit?
He did. He got him.
Very cool.
I delivered him yesterday. He got 4 Gambits
Cool.
off of me for free. Ash
Oh,
Gonzalez is in the house, everybody. One of the best Marvel card artists in the world. Say
Ash,
hello.
how are you? Amazing. Yeah. Oh, Ash did the Gambit card for Dustin as well. Speaking of a Gambit card for Dustin.
Yeah. Yep.
Very nice.
Brian pulling randomized picks.
I think that's about the 96 masterpiece whatnot we were just watching.
Okay, so I think they're paying $80 a card. The pack is opened, and then each card has a spot, and you're randomizing the spots. So you're risking $80 in an effort to get a spot in a pack to hit a card.
How many cards in a pack?
There's 6, I believe.
Let's do some math.
Yeah.
Where's the calculator on an iMac? I don't have a calculator on an iMac. Oh, here it is. Okay.
Yeah, they just hit the Loki. That's kind of a cool card. So yeah, like somebody just got Giant Man for $80, and that's, by the way, I love the Stingray Corvette in the background. If you haven't ever noticed that.
I never did, actually. This is actually quite reasonable. They're going to net 8,000. Well, I don't know if net's the right word. They're going to get $8,640 for that box.
So, and then at $80, somebody just got that, and that's actually pretty good, especially if it's clean. The Weapon X Wolverine.
So they're going to get $8,640 total, which is not bad, even if they're invested into that box $7,000.
Yeah, but you know what else he got?
Cool.
He's got 65 people watching right now, and there's no telling how many more followers he picked up because it's this box. And that leads into the next sale.
Not tonight.
And the next sale, and the next sale, right? It's even if he breaks even on this box, it's the fact that they're going to come back.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh, he's going to do better. Well, we don't know what he paid.
Oh, by the way,
that's right.
It's 7 spots. Okay, 7 spots, not 6 times 7 times 18 times 80.
$10,080. I think I'm going to buy me a box. I think I'm going to get on Whatnot. I was one of the early approved accounts on Whatnot, and I just never did anything.
First, really?
Yeah.
You still have it?
No, I've never done anything on Whatnot. I've been on Whatnot for I'm telling you, I wanted to invest in the company. I've been watching them since they were Pokemon. I've been talking to the people in that mix for a long time. And then when they came into the comic book world, they started the Whatnot comic book page, and they just started jumping in everybody's DMs.
Yeah.
And they got into my DM, and I was like, all right, let's get on the phone. I spoke to some guy, and I got set up. And then I was like, this isn't for me. I'm not a live seller.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't have 2,000 things to sell. I want to sell 10 things a month, and I want them to really make an impact. That's it.
Right. I'm with you. Crowley says the first card was a miscut cable error card. That's fun.
Whoa, that's cool. Hey, you're going to drive a Lambo soon? Listen, man, if they want to give me a Lambo so the guys that pulled that triple logo Jersey Man card got a Lamborghini?
A yellow Lamborghini, yes. It had to be pulled on Whatnot. That was the odds. It had to be pulled on Whatnot live.
What are the odds that the most exciting people were the ones that got it done? I gotcha. And now it's at Golden Auction, you said, the Jersey Man logo card?
Yeah.
What is this? What do we think it's going to sell for? $1 million?
I have no
What is
idea.
that card?
No clue. I know they say 3 million, but I have no clue. It's not that special to me.
It's intense. That's intense.
Andrew's
in the building.
It's not that special to me, but it's 3 logos from the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Miami Heat, and the Los Angeles Lakers. And I'm a Los Angeles Laker fan because of Kobe, and I haven't watched a single full game since LeBron's been there. So, and you're talking to someone who for 20 years watched almost every single game that was broadcasted, period, into the discussion.
I'm very intrigued. I don't know if you can tell. I'm very intrigued by what's happening in this world, this mystical world of expensive cards and breaking
Yeah.
and the incentives. Like, I
Yeah.
kind of want to crack this thing wide open. Maybe that's what maybe I'm supposed to be, maybe that's my mission.
I don't know, man.
I'm going to be really hated if I start going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
make a
Yeah.
lot of enemies real fast.
Right. And real money's at
Mm.
play. So real bad things happen when people mess with real money. So be
Actually,
careful.
yeah. And you know what? I grew up with the saying, I can't knock a hustle. So
Mhm.
maybe I'm supposed to just be
Wait a
quiet and
minute.
sell my
Hold
little
on.
comic
What
books.
you guys don't realize is he just quoted one of his rap songs.
Can't knock the hustle. That's Jay-Z. You can't knock the
Okay.
hustle.
Okay. All right.
That's
I didn't know
Jay-Z.
that.
Yeah. Not one of my own. Oh wait, no one knows that. Wait, is that no one knows that I used that? No one knows that.
Oh, look at
Guys,
Ash. Ash, if you sell your stuff on Whatnot, I'm in. And that's
oh,
the thing.
okay, got
Like
you.
I have
Yeah.
so much stuff I can sell on Whatnot. Like everything I open on Saturday morning, I can sell on Whatnot, but I don't want to do that. That's not the relationship I want with my cards because I don't want to work with my hobby. That's just not where I'm at in life right now.
I hear you. I
Mhm.
hear you. Well, no, I don't mind work. I don't mind. I mean, to me, because I don't have a
Mhm.
career that requires all of my time that I use for, so on. To me, it's all the same thing. My
Yeah.
life, my working is all one, but I make sure that if I'm working, it's something I love doing. So it never feels like work.
I
I
love
made
it.
that decision years ago, right?
And
If it's,
and
yeah,
you're there, and I have to finish putting 2 girls through college and likely pay for
exactly.
2 weddings, and so I'm at a different
Exactly.
space and place. And this
Exactly.
morning, my 4th appointment, no exaggeration, scheduled, had to talk to somebody, 4th appointment was at 8:30 AM this morning. The first one was at 6:15, 7:15, 7:45, and then 8:30. So,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
That's work. You're putting in
Yeah.
work. You grind,
Oh,
man, you got it though. You got it in you. You tackle
yeah.
so many things. Wow.
It's not a problem. Shipping Whatnot goods is not there. Like I'm not doing
I
it.
hear you. I hear you. You listen, you got to pay for your daughter's weddings. I
Uh-huh.
never even had to pay for my own wedding. So, like, I
It's a
got
different.
plenty of time.
One day I'll share my wedding story. Not that anybody wants to hear, but let's just say it involves like you know goats and things like that. So, but anyhow, it'll be fun. Goats and black dresses. I'll sell it that way. But
Current bid on the logo man is 1.8 million with the buyer's premium is 2.16 with 3 days left. Calvin,
wow,
thanks for dropping that on us. Like,
yeah.
I'm not in that world. I didn't know. My goodness.
Oh, yeah, that's insane. And no, I'm looking for this comment from Ang. OMG, Flare Ultra Avengers on Whatnot, Justin. You should do it for your Marvel Spider-Man. Well, so last I checked on Whatnot, you're selling what you're opening. That means you don't own it anymore. And I want to own all my Spider-Man metal cards. I'm not really doing it to sell it. So that would be tough for me. Could you imagine if I'm opening up Spider-Man metal
Hitting something you want and it's not yours anymore?
and you hit a green PMG Spider-Man or a Super Rave one of one Venom? Like I couldn't if my career doesn't work out and I need to make money doing something else, like I'll be happy to do it, whatever for my family.
Yeah.
But in the space and place I'm in right now, no, I'm fine. I want to keep the card.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's a nice place to be. It's definitely a nice place
Mhm.
to be. I know I'm hung up on this thing, but and I know you guys are teaching me, so please bear with me. So that the folks that ripped the pack or opened that case that had that one card in it, um, somebody else had purchased. So they sent that to somebody, and that somebody is who's auctioning it off at
Yes,
Golden right
not
now.
the breakers.
Not the Breakers. The Breakers got the Lambo, but now
Right.
somebody else is about to get 10 Lambos.
The Lambo and then an immense amount of publicity that would have probably cost as much as the card selling for to get in
This
advertising.
is exciting to me.
Mhm.
That's part of see, I'm getting pulled in.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, it works so well.
it does work.
Oh,
And it is, it's worked for them quite a bit. And I would tell you that this is confession hour, right? We've been confessing that
Mhm.
I'm at my daughter's dance recital. I go on to Whatnot. There's zero Marvel card breaks going on, but there's a backyard breaks going on. I look at it and they're stacking boxes, bam, and this box and this box. And, and I don't know what I'm looking at, but it sounds all very expensive and nice, right?
Yeah,
And it's like, and we're going to sell spots and they're going to randomize them. And they're doing it by cities, basically. So if you have Chicago, you get any player for the Cubs, any player for the Bulls, any player for the Bears, any player for the whatever the hockey team is, right? And so I buy into it. It's like $500, okay? And I get Charlotte, which doesn't have a baseball team, but it does have a football team, and it does have the Charlotte Hornets, right? Yeah, Hornets.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And they have LaMelo Ball, like one of the top
Oh,
young. And so I'm thinking, here's my money back possibly. And then it hits one card, and it's a backup running back on the Carolina Panthers.
oh, that's not good. Yeah.
That's not good at all. But my point is,
Okay.
I went to their break because of their popularity of what happened with the logo, and I found myself there, and amidst all the excitement, made a purchase that I never should have made.
Can't knock the hustle. What are
Can't
you
knock the
gonna
hustle.
do?
Yep.
Dang.
So my point is, it works.
It certainly does. It certainly does. I'm just reading here. Oh, Johnny Bravo's in the building. What's up, Johnny? What's going on? Nice to see you.
Yeah. So
you can always sell the non-Spidey cards after you rip for all. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like all the Star Wars stuff here, I have no idea what to do with.
That's funny.
On my channel.
Did you watch Jurassic Park yet?
All right, so I'm in Jurassic Park, and we're like 40 minutes into it. My wife and I walked out.
Explain that.
There's more to it, but neither one of us were enjoying the movie.
No,
there was some stuff going on at home, and we're like, you know what, let's just go.
Okay. What if there wasn't stuff going on at home? Would it still have been like a torture for you to watch it?
We wouldn't have walked out, no, but we were both like, yeah, let's go.
Dang, that's
have you seen
now
it?
No, I don't see anything, but I wanted to watch that, Now I'm just gonna wait for that to show up on Netflix.
We're gonna finish it, but it'll be at home. Yes.
Where is that going to show up when it shows up? On a streaming service? Is that like a Disney property? What is that?
No, I don't think so. Jurassic is what? Why am I thinking Universal?
It's Universal. It is, because I could imagine the globe with the thing.
It's Universal, but is that owned by Sony? Who owns that?
I don't know anymore, man. When it all boils down, it's only like one person that owns everything. So I don't know.
Right.
I have no idea. This is interesting.
Johnny.
The amount of Johnny's in here. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, listen, okay. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time on Whatnot, just poking around, having a good time. I've never engaged much with the platform for my own personal reasons, but yeah, I'll be open to it. I am excited about eBay getting into it, though.
Yeah. What I would like is if there was like a Whatnot, I don't know, co-host, co-signer, where it was like, Justin, send me your stuff. I'll invite you on the channel. We'll run it together, and then I'll handle all the shipping. And then they'll make a fee. Like, that would be cool.
You can get that arranged. I know you can. If there's anyone that can put that together, you can put that together.
I would advertise it, make sure people are there. That would be my part. Providing some of the content, the entertainment during the break, that would be my part. Providing some of the cards, that would be my part. But somebody else will do all the work of like running the auction, setting it up, running it, and then shipping out the cards.
Is Michael on Whatnot?
He has done a Whatnot with someone else in his hometown, but he himself is not on Whatnot.
So this Instagram account that he just started, Cool Cards, that's brand new, right?
Cool Cards Net.
Yeah. So this is his first push sort of into being an entity, a known entity out of eBay. Because that Marvel Beckett registry, I've known that name on eBay. Like, that's a notorious name on eBay. He's got everything.
Right.
And a lot of it. It's like really impressive. It's like, oh my gosh.
And it's all high grade.
That's what he does.
TBC's down for that. And Kent's said earlier in the stream, "Hey, I have an idea I want to talk to you about," and now I'm reading his mind.
Is that what he was? Oh, oh.
And Peacock is who owns Universal, and so he's saying it would be on the Peacock streaming app. Did you know there was
Peacock is
one?
CBS.
Is it really?
No, CBS, ABC. Who's Peacock? CBS.
NBC, my friend. Channel 10.
NBC.
When we were
It
growing
is
up,
NBC.
Channel 10.
It's NBC. It's NBC. Yeah. Hey, I knew it was 3 letters. I couldn't have been that
Oh,
far
okay.
off.
Yeah, really narrowed it down there, my friend.
That's another thing I was thinking. How come every grading company has to be 3 letters? Why
Oh,
can't they do something
is that-
different?
Yeah, NBA, NBC. Yeah. I don't know. I really don't.
You know, I'm going to start. You know what, Justin? We have to start a grading company. I know you think it's a terrible idea. I know you don't want to do any work, but it has to be done now. It has to be done. Who cares more than us? We have
All right, let's come up with the 3 initials.
I don't want 3 initials. I want
What
it
do
to
you
be
want?
something completely different. I want it to be called the Good Grading Company.
The Good Grading Company. That's actually
Yeah,
not a bad
GGC.
name.
There you go. There you go. GGC. Okay.
GGC. Yeah,
Because
no
the
one's going to
Certified
confuse
Guarantee Company,
Yeah.
CGC, there's no guarantee.
that. Okay.
All right. But we promise we'll be good.
Yeah, we won't be great. We're just going to settle for good.
Actually, offline, I am going to tell you something that I really seriously had a thought about.
Okay.
I can't say it here because it's actually a really good idea. But the thing about good ideas, everyone has them. Good idea doesn't make itself, it doesn't execute itself.
No.
But once I decide I'm not going to do it, then I'll say something. But currently, I've bought a domain name, and I'm like, wait a second here.
Oh, man.
But you got to know, I buy like a dozen domain names a year. If I have even a word I like, I buy the domain name.
If it lands and it's available, you're going after it.
Yeah. I've built stuff, you know. I used to build stuff. I used to hire programmers, build stuff, and then see if it would work.
That's not a bad domain name. If it lands.
If it lands.
.com.
That's good. Don't let it be an airline.
These things are important. Look now on ifitlands.com.
If their PR company doesn't tell them that that's a bad idea.
Oh man, that's
all right. Let me bring it back. Make it with super glass.
You're talking about instead of Gorilla Glass.
Instead of Gorilla Glass, make it with super glass.
It's super glass. Make it.
I'm never wearing this purple sweatshirt again. I don't like purple on this screen.
You look good for what it's worth, and to a Louisiana boy, you know, purple's are our color. Purple and gold.
Is it? What's the team?
LSU Tigers and Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras has a color?
Mardi Gras definitely is purple and gold.
Wow. Oh yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. When you say that, I'm like, well, that makes actually a lot of sense.
That's why LSU's purple and gold, because of our connection with Mardi Gras.
Oh, excellent. When Mardi Gras rolls around, are you guys out there having a ball or what?
Last time I was in New Orleans for Mardi Gras, I almost got in a fight over my daughters. So it's never a good scene for me. My wife got a black eye because somebody took a pair of beads and just right in the eye.
Dude.
Yeah. She got her purse stolen. I could go on and on. I've almost never had a good experience in Mardi Gras where someone didn't get arrested. There wasn't a fight. There wasn't something that happened.
That sounds terrible. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know.
Yeah, and I love our state, and a lot of people have a great time and they love it. It's just it just doesn't suit me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It wouldn't suit me either. I don't think. TBC says, what comic books, if any, are you guys reading? I'm going to be honest, my friend. I'm not reading any, and that usually upsets people. But Justin, are you reading any?
Not reading, but I just finished the YouTube online series of Gore the God Butcher and the Origin of Doom at the Russian comic book guy. I think is what it's called, the Russian comic book something on YouTube. Just do Russian comic book and it'll pop up. And it has me going, why read? Because I can put it on and they're dramatizing the comic book. So they're showing the comic book panels on the screen with the dramatized vocals reading the book. And then they take the time to take the series and piece it together as a played out story.
That's great.
It's wonderful. So yeah, that's the 2 I just finished, and I would recommend Gore the God Butcher. before the movie?
We're over 2 hours here.
We
But
are, because
yeah,
we started at a great time, but
we started a great time. But yeah, I'm not trying to pick a fight.
why do you like this?
I'm telling you, guys, guys, something is like brewing in me lately
Yeah.
where I feel unsettled. Like I feel like there's a lot of stuff happening
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't sit well with me. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna have to I have a purpose here, I think. And
Mm-hmm.
for the time being, I really do want to continue speaking to people and finding out why certain people are so accepting of certain flaws in our grading companies.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we keep bending over backwards as if we're not the people that made grading companies relevant? Why are
Mm-hmm.
we so scared to offend a grading company as if a better one can't replace it? As if they can't afford to improve themselves. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is this all about? The inconsistency in the comic book grading companies right now is literally unacceptable. There's
Mm-hmm.
9.4 looking 9.8s. There's 9.8 looking 9.4s.
Mm-hmm.
There's absolutely no consistency. I can submit the same book 4 times and maybe not get 4 different grades because that would be
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous, but I can easily get a 9.6 to be a 9.8 or the other way around. And that is just not fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely unfair. How are we going to change this? And don't even, or actually get me started. A lot of people say CBCS grades harsher. No, they do not.
Mm-hmm.
CBCS is actually grading as loose as they possibly can right now because they're completely aware that there's holes in the, what's the saying about someone's armor? What is it in an armor that can
Chink,
be
chink
chink,
in the
right? So
armor.
there's chinks in CGC's armor. And CBCS knows that. So CBCS is giving away 9.9s. And if anyone thinks that 9.9s are supposed to be that readily available, you're smoking something, man, because they're
Mm-hmm.
not. And there are books that I never would have anticipated getting 9.8s that CBCS, like someone is, I'm not going to get, somebody's in the chat that knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm no fool when it comes to grading books, right? There's a,
Mm-hmm.
there's, I'm a very obsessive sort of person. I pay attention to details that people do not pay attention to, and I
Mm-hmm.
grade super conservatively, which is why I sell books that I don't think are going to be 9.8s, and then my friends get 9.8s with them.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I sell it? Because I thought it might not be a 9.8. Why did I
Mm-hmm.
say this is a 9.2 or a 9.4? Because I grade conservatively.
Mm-hmm.
Those books go to CBCS and they get 9.8s.
Mm-hmm.
And then when my same grading scale I'm sending to CGC is landing 9.6s, I'm not saying CGC is grading harsh. There's inconsistencies there. There are new graders that don't know what they're doing. And we've become victim of that. Also, the other inconsistency that's driving me crazy are known manufacturing errors. When I've graded a book in the past with the
Mm-hmm.
manufacturing error and it's gotten a 9.8, when I've seen them on eBay with the manufacturing error and it's gotten a 9.8, and then I submit that book at a $150 grading level,
Mm-hmm.
and with insurance it's $200, and I get a 9.4 back, and on the grader's note it actually notes the manufacturing error, am I not supposed to be disappointed in the state of things?
They've already set the standard for that book.
They've already set the standard. Just because you can't handle the growth and you've got new, wet, what is this, wet, the graders are still wet behind the ears, that
Mm-hmm.
should not be our problem.
Mm-hmm.
We should not be affected by that. Like, I don't think as a community we can all unify and say, we're going to stop grading for a while. Like, that's unreasonable to assume, because a lot of people, I'm trying to just let people know, man, it doesn't have to happen to you for it to be a real concern. And it's happening far too often, but there are people out there that literally grade 150, 250, 1,000 books every time. Like, they're
Mm-hmm.
big shops. There's these eBay pages where there's just, when they do a new run of listings, they list
Mm-hmm.
150 new books. They don't care about those books. And those people are going to keep, and I don't mean those people in some offensive way, I'm just meaning the people that are in that line of work, bulk submitters, they're
Mm-hmm.
going to keep CGC in the black. That's CGC's bread and butter, not a specialty grader like myself doing 5 or 6 books a month.
Right.
I'm not the reason CGC keeps the lights on, but I am the reason that CGC has a great deal of respect, me and other people like me, because even though we don't grade 1,000,000 books, we're still the most significant and loudest voices. Those people that grade 150 books and sell them all on eBay, we don't know who they are. They
Right.
don't come out passionately about their book.
And
They
there's a good chance they don't want to be known.
don't want to be known. That's just the business of it.
Mhm.
You have to respect us, the collector seller. We are the reason you have a brand.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm just mad, man. And and then some people tell me, Manu, this is not a battle. You're not going to win this one. Yes, I am.
Mhm.
Yes, I am. You're not. How can you go up against CGC? I'm not going up against CGC by myself. All I'm trying to do is get other people to see it and feel it and
Mhm.
hopefully support the mission, because enough of us will make a difference. Listen, I know it makes a difference because people from CGC are speaking to me, but even they can't affect change.
Right.
An employee at CGC doesn't have control over what CGC
Mhm.
does. But
Right.
they can convey the message, and
They
hopefully
can make you
enough of that
feel a way
message
about
gets.
it. And
Well, yeah.
so here's my challenge to you in the moment. This is what's
hmm
present with me because I'm with you in the passion. But
hmm
give me the mission in as succinct and efficient language as possible.
To bring consistency and integrity back to grading comic books.
Mhm.
We don't
So
want anything else.
3 words: accuracy, consistency, and integrity.
That's it. That's it.
Pretty sure if I went and found my Underwood Appraisals business card, that is the 3 words at the bottom of it.
Wow.
That's going to be my job to show you that.
That's it.
Mhm.
That's it. And there's a reason it's on your business card, because
Because
that's what we're supposed to get.
and they are appraising. They're not assessing a value monetarily, but they're assessing a value from a grade standpoint. And you have those 3 things are critical in that
And that's
situation.
I don't care about the turnaround times. Listen, the fact that it takes a long time to get your book, that means you guys are doing great over there.
Mhm.
I don't care. I don't even care about the prices going up. But if the prices are going up and the turnaround times suck, but you guys aren't doing your job,
Yeah.
dude, this is
Can't be
all
all
messed
3.
up. No,
Can't
and it's and I'm to blame for the longest time. There are just as recent as a few weeks ago, there are live streams where I'm on record saying, yeah, CGC sucks. I'm still grading with them. But then a bunch of stuff just hit me at once, and I'm just like, oh no, that's not okay. So I don't know. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully we can make a difference. I'm
Yeah.
going to keep on. I'm going to keep at it. This is an objective of mine. I'd rather fight the good fight than grade a book at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm here with you because I believe in those 3 things. And if CGC is not about that right now, then yeah, let's be a movement of change.
Yeah, I really hope we can. I really hope we can. And I know we got friends in here in the chat that feel certain ways about the card
Mhm.
grading companies as well, but I don't have as much experience there, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think it's not Kent. It's not Kent. Is it Kent? No, it's not Kent. It might be Marvel. It might be somebody really. One friend of ours really doesn't like PSA, and it's funny every single time. I saw a comment somewhere on Instagram. They were like, "Congratulations, PSA spent a whole 27 seconds grading that card for you."
So there's this in the leadership world, there's a book called Leadership and Self-Deception. And I'm bringing this up because of the conversation we're in. It's not directed at any one person. And if you hear it as directed to you, come to me and talk to me about it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But Leadership and Self-Deception, this book came out some time ago and it has grown in sales every year because it has a terrible name. It's called the Arbiter Institute, Leadership and Self-Deception. And it's not a catchy, name, right?
Right.
But it's grown in sales every year because it's a very impactful book. And one of the things this book talks about, it talks about being in the box. And when you're in the box, it doesn't matter what that person does, you perceive it a different way. you're in the box towards them. And there's a whole, specific language that they create if you were to read the book. And my point is we can get that way towards companies too. It doesn't matter what they do. We're in the box towards them. We'll see it a certain way because of how we view that company or that person. And again, it's not directed at somebody, but if you get like really strong and passionate feelings about a company, you made them perceive things a way in which then maybe they're not really, if you're not careful. And so like, I want to have the passion and I want to keep that, but I also don't want to, put somebody or something in a place and space where I'm never open to what may really be happening.
With CGC, you're saying?
Nope.
Or,
again,
no.
Not directed at anybody.
Not direct.
But there's
right.
I've experienced people as I just hate that company, period. End of discussion. Doesn't matter anything else. And everything I see about that company, I'm going to see in a negative way.
Oh yeah,
I'm in the box towards them, to use the language from the book.
Whatever that box is, you're in that box.
Well,
the goggles you're seeing everything through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm certainly not in a box.
You're not. No. Again, because definitely not directed towards you. And this is
right.
This is just me saying, let's keep things in proper perspective and not try to see a company as always bad or always good, even because there are people who likely just love CGC and they, like, hey, back off, Manu,
Right. I love CGC. I'm actually,
but you're not in the box. You're not in the box.
Yeah. Terry says here, hi, Terry. And Terry says, if you had surgery and the surgeon left a sponge in you, would you defend them and go back to them for another operation? Well, of course not, right?
But what if they were the best there was and that was the best you could get?
If the best leaves a sponge in you, I don't know how they ended up becoming the best. But
well, then who else do you get to grade your comic?
But that's the thing. We don't need to grade our comics. We can all pull back and say, hey, we don't need to grade our comics. You can pull back and say, we got to let this thing settle down. We need the grading companies to recognize that they are not powerful because they grade comics. They're powerful because we want our
I got a rule.
Graded sometimes.
I'm instilling a new rule. Right now, from here henceforth, I'm CGC. And just like a baseball player, are you familiar how this works? If you come out of high school, you either go straight to the pros or you got to be in college for 3 years. It's one or the other.
Oh.
So comic books, either you get graded immediately through some special relationship, or the book's got to be this much in age before it comes back to CGC. And it's a waiting period to help, create capacity at CGC. Could you do something like that? Like just institute, hey, we're not grading these books for this time period because we don't have enough people to do it and do a good job.
That actually makes a lot of sense. And a lot of people grade a bunch of stuff that doesn't need to be graded.
Yes.
Like if you're going to grade your book and then sell it for $50 on eBay, what did you grade it for?
Here's what I like about it potentially is because now this book has to go live out in the, in the ethos for 3 years and survive as a 9.8 before it comes back.
I like it. I like it. Who do I call? Let's implement it.
Yeah, it'll never happen, but
it won't happen. A lot of things. I like that PSA shut down for a while, and I don't see CGC doing the same thing, but that was a good move.
Do you realize why they shut down? Did you ever hear what happened after March 1st of 2021?
What was March 1st? Tell me, what was the March 1st? Was that the date that they said that prices are going up if you get everything in by this time?
They literally shut down the post office.
Wow.
They literally shut it down. They just couldn't even
stories like that.
You see what I'm saying? Like they had to shut. We don't know all the forces that were telling them they had to, but they had to.
Yeah. And Kent, you're absolutely right. Like, Kent says, as long as high grade comics command a profit, grading will be in demand. Of course, there's the fact that we've entrusted the grading companies to actually tell us the condition of our book. But what I'm telling you guys is they're not doing that anymore. They are not a trusted source anymore. Your 9.8 may not be a 9.8. Your 9.6 may be a 9.8. But they are still doing a better job than Joe Schmo telling you his near mint minus book is a 9.10. You know, like the nonsense you see on eBay is definitely nonsense. Majority of comic collectors don't have a clue how to grade because we're not graders. I mean, I'm not going to lump me into that because I do know how to grade, but I wouldn't grade a golden age book. I don't know the first thing about telling a 2.5 apart from a 4.0. And I would never attempt to represent myself as a person that knows that. Grading companies have graders that know what they're doing. Yes, but what I'm saying is in those high grades of 9.8s and 9.6s, there is no guarantee that your 9.8 is a 9.8, and that is not fair. So yes, putting that grade on it is supposed to get rid of the mystery of what am I buying. But friends, you didn't get rid of any mystery. You have a sticker on a case with a number, and you're paying for that. Your book doesn't necessarily match that criteria, and that is the truth today. And it's sad, but I get it.
Yeah. Do you know what Mike, not Mike Diamond, the company's Diamond. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up. But
Distributors, Diamond. I know Mike. Mike's the guy that owns. Wait, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a guy who was the quote original PSA grader, like the first employee ever as a grader. Mike Baker. Mike Baker authenticated. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this up, show it on the channel. Share screen, Chrome tab, Mike Baker. Boom. Can you see that okay?
Yes.
And so what I have you know is that Mike Baker, where superior quality counts, he doesn't work for PSA or CGC or BGS, you know, the cards that you see up here. You see these little gold diamonds at the top, right beneath the label? And
I know where we're going.
Diamonds?
Yep. Yep.
So he's a third party who will look at your graded slab and give it an additional authentication that it's truly what they say it is. It's truly a 10. It's truly a 9, or it's truly a 9.5. And so it's a additional verification that, and I'm not saying if it's true, but the idea is that if you're buying this card, you know that it's not only a PSA 10, it's truly a PSA 10, not just labeled one. In the same way that you said, hey, it's got 9.8, but it's really a 9.4.
Justin, I'm going to tell you, that is the 9.9 newsstand standard. That is what I am all about. When
so you don't have to be my point is you don't have to be the grader, but you could say, hey, look, I'm telling you, this is a 9.9 newsstand standard. And I'm putting my name on it.
This is actually the idea that I just said 15 minutes ago I wasn't going to share, but now I own a domain name about it.
I'm sorry.
And no, it's
two ideas.
It's all no. It's all. See, here's the other thing about sharing ideas. Most people will never do anything about it.
Yeah.
You could tell your great idea to 1,000 people. You're not going to find 1,000 people that can steal it and do anything. They won't. They got other things going on with their life.
And I'm going to tell you, for most people, this will be the worst idea ever on the planet because you don't have the name and reputation to back it up.
You got to build that, though.
You got to build it.
You have to build it. It's not built in. You got to build it. And you build it by proving yourself. You know, I've built that reputation by selling raw books. People know you can buy a raw book from me and you're going to be pleasantly surprised. You know, I even did a grade in tea. Do you remember? Money back grade in tea.
Yeah.
I made that up. That's my stamp of approval. If I said it's this grade and you have X amount of time to grade it, I gave a year window. And you send me that slab back, it did not meet that grade, you get your money back and you get your grading fee back.
Wow.
That's what I represent. That's why this makes me mad. Their job is to pay attention. And what they're not doing is that. It's annoying. What did Terry say? Because this confused me, but I want to be able to see this. If you can pull up Terry's comment where he says, I have it easy. And
he says,
break
I have
that
it
down
easy.
For me.
I buy, I sell, I grade. I buy my storage options. I do everything myself that a grading company does. No drama, easy as eating pancakes.
I love it, Terry. I love it. Continue. I love it. I support it. What is your storage? Well, whatever your storage option is, I love it, Terry.
Yep.
You stand by your product. You grade your product. I'm sure you are a man of integrity. I respect that.
So Kent had Mike Baker look at his green Scarlet Spider, said it was a 7. And he put it out here, so I'm going to say it. The
Yeah,
rest of the
please
story
tell
is
that
that it
story.
graded as a PSA 9. So my baker said it's a 7, but it then actually grew to a PSA 9. Oh, and by the way, I am now on the break. I bought a spot while we were sitting here.
Terry, I'm going to talk to your other comment in a second too, because now I think you're making fun of me. So I want to address that in a second.
Okay.
What did you buy?
I have no idea. I just bought in, but I don't know if they're making you pick which card. If they are, that sucks because I literally just opened this exact same pack. The pack I opened Saturday. If this is the odds, then it is literally the same pack.
Same
It's
cards are in there and everything?
exact same, Strange, Lizard, Black Cat, Cable, and the Cyclops Gold Gallery. The whole thing, everything that I did, I bought into the exact same pack I opened last week.
Wow, what are the odds of that? So wait, so the one that the green Scarlet Spider that was said to be a 7, it came back a 9?
Yes. And he said that he said that some of my cards wouldn't grade a certain way, and he was not right either. But he was being overly conservative.
Yeah, I tend to do that as well.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing when you're a seller. It's not a good thing when you're discouraging someone to grade their stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So Terry says, haha, if you are that paranoid that you need to authenticate your authentication, you're in the wrong hobby. Get out and go get some help. I disagree with that. That's not our problem that they're dropping the ball. I disagree with that. I appreciate you, Terry, but that's just a fun thing to say, but it's not necessarily true.
Yeah, I mean the reality is that at grading companies, they're not perfect and they misgrade cards. And
Yeah.
there
Oh, and
could
Terry says, he said, no, I'm not making fun of you. Thanks, Terry.
there could be a space and a place where if you're buying something that's we're not talking about little money in the trading card space. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, right?
Yeah.
Of cards that, having a second look at it, knowing that it's at least that great, if not better.
Yeah.
I'm up.
Yeah. But I also want to
pick
say,
for me.
Oh, he said spot 5. Oh no, that's Bowman. Bowman said that. But Terry, to the comment in response to, like, just like to, people that are joking around having conversation. No, in that regard, I get it. Like, yeah, if you got to authenticate your authentication, but I'm just saying, like, that's just what it's become. I'm a detail oriented person, and I take that stuff really seriously, because let's not make light of it. The difference between a 9.8 and a 9.9 is a small, minute detail. So how can we, once somebody starts making a fuss about the details, point the finger and say, you shouldn't make a fuss about that? That's the whole idea behind grading.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the thing, right? Like, it's a tricky one, but grading companies got to do better.
Yeah, they do. They do. And I hope that CGC makes changes to where they don't need anybody giving an authentication on it, or that we can hold them accountable.
Yeah, we'll get there. The grading's here to stay. I love grading as an innovation. I love what grading has done to the hobby. I like the books being slabbed. I think it's awesome. It does make for easy selling. It does, because it's hard to tell someone that this is a 9.0, because it's hard to sell that way unless it's on the slab.
We got to talk about another aspect here.
Yeah.
It's also fun to buy raw and grade.
I love it's so fun, but now it's not that. Do you remember? A bunch of people said it, but it really hit me. It's not fun anymore. I mean, it brings a tear to my eye. It's not fun anymore. I shouldn't be stressed out about if I'm going to get screwed on a submission. That's not cool.
Yeah.
You
Kent, love you, man. Have a good night and good luck at your presentation,
night, Kent. Thank
man.
you.
Be praying for you. Want it to go well.
Yeah, I hope it goes really well.
So DO6 asked this earlier. Is it time for AI grading?
I think it's time for a combination of the two. I think you need the human and you need the AI. And I think companies are working on that. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't leave everything to a computer. Not that I know what I'm talking about, but I think it should be I think it should be both. I think it should be both. I also, a pet peeve of mine is when these grading companies say we have 3 graders, look at everything. No, you do not, because you can't even open the book up and find the insert in the middle of it. You don't look at anything. We're being lied to.
Well, when you do something repetitively, the brain, I'm going to use probably the wrong word scientifically, but it numbs itself to the details.
Sure.
I mean, and I'm talking about true repetitiveness. I'm not talking about once or twice a day. I'm
Grading
talking about
100 books a day.
You're talking about, and I haven't seen CGC's operation. And again, I'll use the language I used earlier in a different context. They're doing the best they can with what they have. Okay. In the sense of, time and space. I choose to believe that. Maybe it's not true, but I just choose to believe that. But if you've ever worked on the assembly line of any sort, you like have 45-second windows. These things are being put in front of you and you got to move them. And that's probably the issue, is that there's the process is broken. Not so much the people are broken, but that the process itself needs to be redone. And I have a belief that a good process fixes just about anything.
Yeah.
And you spoke to it. You said, well, if you truly have 3 people looking at it, that's a good process, and this wouldn't be happening. But is the process being really acted on?
Steve, who was the former head grader at CBCS, who recently left, he did. Oh, there's something interesting to talk about. And excuse me. This comment, though, I didn't know what this meant. Break this down real quick, and then I'll get to what I was going to say.
On Viking Sword?
Yes, yeah.
I still understand the business decision of CGC allowing all of the raw PMGs to get into PSA holders. So he's saying last year when Marvel cards started being graded for the first time, CGC should have done everything they could to get the best cards into their slabs before they ended up into a PSA slab. An example would be the gold 1-of-1 Spider-Man that I had. I called and said, hey, can you do something here? And I got nothing. And so it ended up now it's in a PSA slab. And so, maybe there'll be other rare cards pop up that they can get into their slabs, but they certainly missed a window to get a huge part of the Marvel card library into a CGC slab where they could hold themselves out to be the gold standard.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. And you know what? I'll play devil's advocate. Maybe they, for once in their life, made a responsible decision and said, hey, you know what? We can't handle this right now.
You're not wrong.
So good on them if that's what happened.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
What I was saying about CBCS is Steve Borak, forgive me, his last name. He's the founder of CBCS. He was a former co-founder and head grader at CGC early on. And he went over to CBCS, started CBCS, and then CBCS he sold to Beckett. And he stayed on as head grader. Just recently he left. This is going to get real interesting, actually, because it leads into something else. A few months ago, he was on a YouTube channel called Comic Book Investing, I think. The guy's name is Dave, I believe. His website is collectorscomics.com. He's a dope dude, man. His father used to be, we'll get into that. His father used to be a big time dealer for a long, long time. Anyway, Steve and his father were friends, so Steve agreed to do the interview. They might have agreed to do the interview anyway, because publicity is publicity. And Dave's channel has, I think 5,000 or 10,000 followers, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in that range, subscribers. But Steve made some mistakes in that interview where he was a little too open. I mean, it's good that we knew, but he ended up letting us know that there are only 3 graders that every book has to pass. 3 finalizers, not graders, finalizers. And they're essentially the quality control through the grader. And he let us know how many books each person had to finalize per day. And I forgot the details, but just imagine hearing it and saying, there's no way you're doing a good job. That's absurd.
Yeah. And that's what I'm afraid of too, is they literally, they have to spin. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Yeah, no, that's the point, right? Yeah. And that's definitely the case. There's no way you can pay the type of attention we're paying you to pay. So funny thing now is David's dad, and that's not even his name. I'm such a dummy, but the comic book investing YouTube channel, good guy named Dave or David. His name is Dave. Dave's father is now one of the graders at CBCS.
Oh.
And Dave is a huge comic book seller. I'm talking, but he only does CGC. He only grades with CGC. He gets hundreds of books back from CGC at a time. He's not one of these faceless sellers. He's on the channel. He's on Instagram. Like, he's a young guy that loves comics and sells comics. And, he's a real part of the hobby. He's a hobbyist too, but he's a seller, and he comes from a family of selling. But his father is now one of the graders at CBCS. Like, is he going to start grading with CBCS now? That's going to be so funny. If the next video I see 100 CBCS books, man, I'm calling conflict of interest, man.
Yeah. I mean, in a sense, that you kind of have to ask yourself if you're about consistency, accuracy, and integrity. And integrity is an interesting word because there's two meanings to integrity. You have the ethical aspect of integrity, and then you have another aspect which maybe isn't ethical, but it's what are you being, well, like my phone, right? If the screen was cracked and broken and the touch aspect didn't work, the phone would be out of integrity because it wouldn't be whole. It wouldn't be what it was made to be.
Right.
It would be out of integrity. And so there's the aspect of, are you being whole and complete about who you put yourself out there to be? Right. So it doesn't live in the same ethical realm. And so you would say, hey, look, like, is it an integrity of who I hold myself out to be to grade with a relative?
Right. No, this also goes into the conversation I was having on that Instagram live with Godly and Rage and One True Nerd King. They were talking about how at CGC there's this thing where, first I want to say before I go too far, David, you're the man. I've purchased books from you. We've spoken. I love you. And you even made a joke about it on your own video where you were interviewing your dad. You were like, hey guys, you want a good grade? Go ahead and hit my dad up. And, they all, because obviously that's the elephant in the room. Wait, your father grades books now and you're a big seller? So that's obviously that's something that people will discuss. It's not like,
likely live in Dallas and it's the closest place he can get his hands on a book to grade. So.
Right. Wait, who lives in Dallas?
I'm just saying that's probably the reality.
Oh, yeah. And so, wait, what did you just, so we were talking about where CGC has this policy where I don't know if it's real or not, but they say, if you work at CGC, you can't be a collector seller, because that's a bit of a conflict of interest. Like, if you're selling graded books and you work at CGC, it's easy to believe that you might be getting some favoritism here. So they have this, I guess, message out there that, our employees can't sell. First of all, you can't stop that because you can have a completely different presence online. You can have something else representing your logo. You can have a different name. No one knows who you are.
Right.
You can have your account be under someone else's name. So you can't stop that. But from a PR perspective, I get it. But it was just an interesting part of the conversation. Like, if you're not even allowed to be a collector seller and you work at CGC, well, it's interesting when your father is going to be the big time grader. I think it's cool. I think it's really cool. I don't actually think Dave's going to go to CBCS. I think he's still going to be a CGC book selling guy. I actually think so.
I think so too.
And you know what? And he has a lot of trouble with CGC too. But for him, it's not that it's okay or anything. But when you're grading hundreds of books, I can see you having trouble. But when I would grade tell 5,
if I owned a grading company, I would, and this is just me thinking off the cuff. I haven't put a lot of thought in this, but I would probably ask, hey, are you in the hobby of collecting? Are you into comic books? And if they said yes, I'd probably say, well, this is probably not the place for you. Like, what I'm looking for from a personality predictive standpoint is, are you detail oriented? Are you able to work in a process driven system and you don't need tons of human interaction in the way of like getting your felt needs met or your sense of purpose met? Like, what is your personality assessed? Like, I'm going that route of building a team of a process driven team to be able to do something that meets the demands of grading. I'm not trying to build a company full of people who like comic books, who, are just into books, because that's actually not grading books. That would be my thing.
And that's a very interesting thing, because you make such a valid point. And then it was Rage, it was Theo that was like, but why would you want someone that doesn't care about books handling your books? You want a collector handling your
I want
books.
somebody who
But you're
cares about
making the
their
counter.
no. I want somebody who cares about doing their job correctly,
Man, I support
and that's what you want. And I will tell you, I'm not a grader. I'm a relationship guy. I'd be sitting there looking at the book, and I'd be like, who can I talk to about it? You know. You see what I'm saying?
that.
But I
Yeah.
know that about myself. I would
So
literally
you wouldn't
die
be
in
in
that
there, yeah.
environment. And I love comic books.
Dude, I'd actually be just like you in there. I'd be like, hey, look at this. Hey, guys, hey, come look
Yes.
at this
Can
one.
you believe it?
Yeah. Or I might find like a spine tick funny, you know? I mean, look at the
Yes.
shape of the spine tick. Come look
Yes,
at
it's
this.
smiling at me.
Yeah. Look what
It's a
someone wrote on
smiling
page
spine tick.
12.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Have you ever seen the interior of this? Wow, I never thought I'd be looking at the inside panel of this.
Dude,
But
I grade so slow. It's so funny.
yes, and it doesn't mean you're not a good grader. It doesn't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually think I would probably be one of the best graders if I put my mind to it, because that's just how I believe about myself. But it's not something I could grind out 8 hours a day with great consistency, because it's not my personality. And checking the box of loving comic books and what's around it isn't how you would hire those people. You would
You're
want to
right.
dig into what is the perfect personality assessment for the team to build a process of grading with accuracy and consistency around a company that's built on integrity. And I'm hiring those people.
Absolutely. Beautifully said.
Mhm.
Beautifully said. And yeah, just that human element of it, right? Getting exhausted of looking at the same thing. Remember what Taj said, what Epicomicology said? That
Mhm.
idea of if you submit 8 books at one time, they're no longer grading towards the standard of a 9.8. They're
Mhm.
grading against the standard of the book they looked at previously. So if that book was a qualified was a
Yeah.
9.8, but the other book still meets the criteria of 9.8, but it's less good looking than this, in your
Mhm.
mind, you're like, well, that's a 9.6 then. You're
Well, this is
grading
where,
against the 9.8.
and that is where AI comes in, where the book is
Yes.
first looked at by AI technology, which we all understand. If you've ever worked around AI, which I actually have, it needs a human. It just does. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a perfect system, but what it can do, it can speed up process without losing accuracy, because it can look at a book and say, it can give a predictive grade. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
we think this is a 9.8, and here are areas of concern. We think this is a 9.2, here are areas of concern. And then the grader focuses on those areas, and then ultimately assigns the grade and lets them know, like, hey, the AI was wrong. Like, there's nothing on that corner.
Yeah.
That's a manufacturer issue. That's not a true tick or whatever, right? Or the UF4, which we talked about, with very much looks like it has a spine tick at the bottom left corner, but it is not. It's part of the comic book. It's part of the art, right? And so an AI may think that is a tick, but
Right.
it speeds up the process, and then the human is allowed to ensure the accuracy of it, and the AI helps build a base of consistency. And to me, that's probably where that comes in the future.
Gosh, I hope that happens. I really do. I think Terry's asking you a hypothetical.
Um, well, that leaves Spidey out of the grading game. I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
Okay. And then there's
And
another one
then
here.
after that is his follow-up.
Hypothetical. How much money would CGC have to give you to work for them if one of the requirements was you had to get rid of your collection? Okay. So I probably have maybe I have a different relationship with money, but I'm actually more concerned about money 5 years from now and 10 years from now, in the sense of, um, like, I'm 38. Are they going to pay me until I'm 65? Does that make sense? So if it's a career, that's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Like, if it's a consistent career, and I had to get rid of my collection, and the that means one fell swoop of selling. I don't have to do any hustle. It's just boom, it's gone. Oh gosh, that's a tough question. How much money would they have to? I can't answer that question
Okay.
for a number of reasons. One of them is I would be giving you a baseline of what it would take me to leave my current job, which would give an indication of what I make at my current job. So
Oh, you're being super you're really
I
you're
may be
being
overthinking
accurate
it.
here.
It'd be a
Yeah.
lot of money.
It'd be a lot of money.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it would be a lot of money.
My answer is I don't want to work for anyone, so I wouldn't do it anyway.
And and I'm okay with working for someone if they allow me to remain as an entrepreneur in the way that I work.
That's the main point of it is I want to have an entrepreneurial spirit in what I'm doing. So, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I thought about this. I was like, yeah, what if CGC approaches me and says, hey, you think you could do it better? Why don't you come work here? And,
Yeah.
you know,
So like the employer I have now said, hey, here's all of our resources. You align perfectly with our mission, our vision, and values as a company and our culture. And you're not going to clock in and we're not going to tell you what to do. Just go do you the way you do it and do it in an integral way. Then we're going to be fine. And so that's what I do every day.
I really want to answer Swish Rip's question.
Okay, let's do it.
He says, what was the first comic book you both ever sent in to get graded, and perhaps the grade it received?
Yeah, I know the answer to that.
And
it's going to make perfect sense, but you go first. Yes.
Oh, I wonder what yours was actually. Oh no. Okay, well, fine. So for me, my first submission ever was 4 comic books. It was Avengers Annual 10, the first appearance of Rogue. It was Maximum Carnage, the Acclaim one. It's Maximum Carnage 1 if you want to call it, but it's the Acclaim promo. Amazing Spider-Man 347. I don't remember if it's 347 or 346, but it's the Eric Larson cover. That's the holding up the skull, the Shakespeare cover. You know, right? So it's 346 or 347. And it was a newsstand. The Avengers Annual 10 was direct. The Maximum Carnage only comes one way. And then the 4th comic in that bunch was Venom Sinner Takes All 3, which is the first appearance of She-Venom. That super cool purple and green slimified cover with She-Venom on it. Now,
it's pretty cool.
The She-Venom book was originally bought off the shelf by me when I was whatever age I was when that book came out. It only had one spine tick. It did not break color. It achieved a 9.8 because it was a 9.8. The Avengers, I'll get to that one second. The Maximum Carnage book, which the entire video of pressing and cleaning that book is on Epic Comicology's channel. It's an incredibly enjoyable video. That book was trashed, and he brought it up to a 9.2. Now, since then, I have been in the world of grading out 9.6s in that book, and I have had 9.8s in my collection of that book. But this is when I started, right? And a 9.2 in that book is impressive. Because the buzz for that book hadn't even come to life yet. And 9.2s were like, what? You got a 9.2 in that? That's a big deal. And it wasn't going to be a 9.2 otherwise without Taj's effort. So that one got a 9.2. And it might have been a 9.4 on a different day, but I didn't know that yet. So I was happy with the 9.2. Here's where things got interesting. Oh, and that case was scuffed up like crazy. It looked like someone drove a tractor over that case. That's actually when Brittany McManus and I developed our relationship. It was my first submission ever. And somebody put me in touch with Brittany because I just wouldn't stop talking about it. and then Brittany was like, what's up? And I said, Brittany, this is my first time grading with you guys ever. And 3 out of 4 books are ruined. Like, what's up? And that the too busy to do things accurately had already begun for them. This is 2 years in the making, the state of grading currently. Pandemic changed everything for grading, right? And so the third book, the Avengers Annual 10, first appearance of Rogue, got a 9.6, which is super respectable grade in that book. But here's the thing. They closed the book into the inner encapsulation.
Oh, no.
On my first submission ever. So the corner is like, oh, no. And they obviously were like, yep, that sucks. Sorry. And the label was messed up. So what I did was instead of dealing with it, I just sold it dirt cheap. And someone else could crack it out, press it, and do whatever they want. Let them do it.
Yep.
I didn't even deal with it. I just made them aware of it. And they were like, yeah, that's really bad. Sorry, send it back. We'll press it. And I was like, man, forget this. And then the 4th book, the Amazing Spider-Man book, Newsstand, got a 9.8.
Yeah.
But it came with additional damage on it that was never in the book. But it was a 9.8 in the case, right? So
it's like I'm sorry, we're still going to grade it a 9.8.
No, it was already graded. Whoever encapsulated it manhandled it when they were closed. The same way they closed my Rogue into the case, that whoever was doing it that day on my books So my first experience ever was terrible, but then after that, the experiences were good. So I was still around. And in the last 3 months, things have gotten really bad again.
Back to where they were.
Back to where they were. When my first submission ever, 3 out of 4 books, they were like, send them back. And I was like, no, I'm just going to sell them. I hit Brittany up like weeks later. I said, Brittany, thanks for everything. I didn't end up sending any of them back. I just ended up selling them. You're awesome. And then we've just been friends ever since.
That's awesome. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you my first submission and what the grades were. And I'm also going to tell you that I bought into another pack of Marvel Masterpieces. I got the 3rd spot, and they hit a double. They hit a double impact. Are you familiar with a double impact is on 96 Marvel Masterpieces?
Come on, of course. My favorite card is the Spidey Storm. I have both of them. The PSA 9. You know,
they hit this one. Double impact Psylocke and Punisher.
Wait, who did? What are we talking about?
On Marvel Masterpieces, the break. Yeah, I bought into it. I have the 3rd spot, so I won't get the double impact, but I have a chance to get the Cyclops there's 2 Spider-Mans.
Dude, I missed the transition from when you were about to tell us your first graded comic book to 96. I was like, what just happened?
I said before then.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to end up getting, I hope I end up getting the Spider-Man, but obviously the double impact is off the table. We'll see what card goes next. The
I'm
Omega Red
to see what you get.
Yeah. The Omega Red is low key a really good card too.
Okay.
But I'm probably gonna end up with a Cyclops. Yeah. See, Joshua Madness. Yeah, he would pick the Spidey. Leave Spidey alone.
Mr. Crawley says that was me on the double impact.
Congrats. Oh, congratulations, Crawley. Dude. Congratulations. Very happy for you.
That is for $80. Wow.
Buddy, did you read that? You were on YouTube. Yeah, I did. Sorry, I'm in 2 streams now. All right, my first submission.
Oh, Manu, that's funny. Okay.
Yes. Was four Spawn #1 newsstands.
No way. Your first submission was
first submission ever.
Spawn 1 newsies?
I sent them in to be not only graded, but to be signed by Todd McFarlane.
Okay.
And I got 2 9/8s and 2 9/2s, and that was without out cleaning and pressing and grading them before I submitted them.
Wow. No press and still got 2 9/8s back.
Yep. Sold one of them for $560 and paid for my brother to go to Disney World with me.
Very nice.
Yep. So I still have one, and then I sold the 2 9/2s for like $300 overtime later.
Let me ask you a question about selling that for $560. Did you sell that for $560 because you were like, well, if I sell it for $7 something on eBay, I got to pay fees and so on and so forth? Because that was like too low.
I put it on Mercari. This was in February of 2020.
Oh, that might not have been too low then.
That was about right. I mean, it was it was sell at price, you know? And so
congrats.
Anyways.
And it's not like I haven't bought some for close to that. Like I bought one in like when it was well over $1,000. I bought one from someone for $650 and sold it for $1,100 like a week later. So I was like, it happens, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you. I wish I'd have kept the 9/8. For me, it was about not spending money that was allotted to my family to take my brother. It was about, he had sold me that book for $50. I had graded it. It had come back in 9/8. I was very happy. And it was, in a way, just giving it back to him.
Does he still have it?
No, I didn't sell it to him. I sold it to somebody to take him to Disney World.
Right.
And I wouldn't trade the memories that I have. And I'm not just saying that to be like anything about it. Like, I really mean it. Like, very happy.
And we can get you another 9/8 Spawn newsstand. The memories are priceless.
Yeah. And I have one. Like, I'm happy with the one I've got.
Right,
hey, is it my pick, fellas? Am I up?
Is it? Let's see it. Just put it on the screen. Oh no, okay. You got to watch it. You want to watch it?
No, I don't. I can see it here. I just don't know what's happening. So let me turn it up. Let me turn it up a little bit.
Welcome to the stream, man.
So.
What is happening? The non-duel. All right, man. That is yours. Thank you, Joshua.
Dang.
Marvel Madness MCU.
That's the one I wanted.
Oh, that's Spidey.
Yeah, he got the one I wanted. Okay. So let me get Cyclops.
Spidey Jew.
All right. So I'm going with Cyclops.
You, man.
Okay.
You're gonna take Cyclops. All right, you got it.
Oh, that's a beautiful Cyclops, though.
Yeah.
For some reason, every time you kept saying Cyclops, I kept hearing Psylocke, and I was like, why are you disappointed with Psylocke?
Oh yeah, I would have I would have loved to have had Psylocke. Yeah, Cyclops. Dude, we're gonna stay on for another minute and a half because we're gonna hit the 3-hour mark.
I like starting a little
Bowman,
early.
I own multiple of the other Spidey. The one that Miles chose, I mean that Marvelous chose, would have been my choice, but he took it. And so instead I went with a card that I don't have to help finish my set, which is Cyclops, and that card's actually really nice too.
It's a dope card.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really dope card.
And the Omega Red would have been my other choice if I'm just like being really transparent.
Does $80 include the shipping to you?
Yeah, but I wish they would show Omega Red again. Show Omega, please. I want to show you. See if I can get him to show it.
Yeah, he's showing it. That's a beautiful card.
It really is. Wish it would focus a little better, but it is awesome.
Oh, there it is. Boom.
Yeah.
Oh, it was perfect. It focused right before you pulled it away.
And in a sense, that one I wanted to. And if people would not focus on the name and focus on the art, they would have probably picked Omega Red over the Spideys. It's really good. And maybe with the Cyclops too, but the Spidey art that was not the duel is really, really good.
TBC Break said he got the Omega Red. Dude, all of you guys are in this this break. Wow.
Congrats. Thank you. I appreciate that, Johnny.
Yeah, congrats. Yeah. Congrats.
Yeah, see, Johnny knows what's really up. He's not messing around. Yeah, I'm happy for you, TBC. Great card. And I'm going to try not to regret my decision because it is such a great card.
and we all got to enjoy that. That was kind of fun. We brought Whatnot into the live
stream. So yeah,
it was and
it's the first, everybody. It's our first 3-hour stream.
It is.
And
it's episode 10. We made it. Yeah.
Episode 10. And I did it standing up for you the entire 3 hours, having never sat down.
Wow. Wow.
And I'm not tired.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. Whoa. Look at me. Well, for the last hour, we've been talking about Flare Ultra Avengers. You missed it.
No, that's we covered a lot of things today. Today was an emotional night.
Yeah, it did get emotional
on this show. Today was the energy was a little thoughtful. We brought a little bit of that with us. I certainly brought a little bit of the rest of the week in here with me.
Yeah.
And I can't help but come as I am. So
yeah,
that's what I had on my mind. Yeah.
I love it. It was real. It always speaks to me, man. I really appreciate it. For the people who have hung around for 3 hours, God bless you. Thank you.
Wow.
And if you've been in and out, God bless you. Thank you as well. Really enjoy hanging out with each and every one of you. But Manu, especially you, it's always such a real pleasure. As I said, I now number my weeks by Tuesday to Tuesday for this time together. It's really awesome. And hopefully, next week we'll be back. Did you enjoy the new time slot? Please let me know.
Yeah.
We started an hour earlier in an effort to help our guys and gals on the East Coast.
East Coast, yeah. Card Freak, thank you so much. TBC, thank you.
Selfishly, a little bit for me as well. My morning on Wednesday needs to start. Oh, look, we got an all caps. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Night, Dan. Thank you for hanging up. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a good time slot. Thank you. Yes, Dan. Good night. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Much better time slot. That 1 hour is a big deal, man, because yeah, it is actually.
Thank you, Swish Rips. Thanks for hanging out with us all the whole show. Yeah,
thank you.
It's helped me a lot, Manu. Thank you. I know it's probably a little bit more pressure on you to be available a little earlier in the evening, but
no, it's okay. It's perfectly fine for me. My schedule is made around this.
Sweet.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny. And I did want to talk about Obi-Wan. We didn't get to it tonight. Since the last episode is tomorrow, let's plan to talk about it next Tuesday.
Okay, deal. At 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. What is
Central
your
Standard
time called?
Time.
Central Standard Time.
Yeah, and at 9 Eastern Standard Time, and
Yeah.
and look, and at 9 a.m. Australian time.
And
So,
everybody go say hi to Don Diego. Let her know.
yeah, give her some love. Just send her a heart.
Yeah.
Do something like that.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button. It's very helpful to the channel. And if you haven't subscribed and you like this kind of content, please subscribe. There'll be more of it coming. And if you are a subscriber, just a reminder, I'm going to give away a HasLab Sentinel that's 27 inches tall. It's really awesome piece when the channel hits 3,000 subscribers. And I'm really hoping that one of you guys or gals win it. So anyways, thank you for watching. And as always, I hope you have a marvelous day.